Hope that you are doing well this Friday morning. I don't think the notice went out today. I don't think Discord sent out a notification. Do you? I didn't see it, and I normally see it. Yeah. Maybe it'll do it in a minute. Maybe. Good morning, Sue. I didn't see one either. That's not good. It's the beginning of the Constitution. Right. Good morning, Farah. Good morning, Aline. So, give me a second. There we go. I am bringing my backup on here. Just so that, because I haven't done that in a while, and I want people to know that I have a backup. Good morning, Marilyn. Good morning, Cam. Hey, Cam, for some reason, the notification didn't go out in Discord. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know if Phantom can help with that or what. I don't know. Good morning, Tara Love. Good to see you. Good morning, Celia B. Good morning, Rocky Dean. I missed saying hi to everybody because I was fixing my backup account coming on here. Good morning, Ja. Good to see you. What's up, Grammy? How is everyone? Hello, Sally Page. Good morning. Thanks for reposting. Appreciate it. What's up, Just Why? How are you? Okay, I think I'm getting everybody now. Good morning, Melinda. I see you getting in here. Who else did I miss? I'm trying to see. What's up, Blue Honey Pot? When Dixie, Find Out, Celia B. Good to see you guys. Yeah, Phantom or Sandy. Phantom is who set up all of my widgets the first go around, but that's definitely what it is. Good morning, Melinda. I hope that you guys are excited and ready to dig into some conversations today. What's up, Yari? Good trouble. Good to see you as well. It's the Notify Me app. Yeah, see, I don't know. Good morning, Joanna. Good to see you. What's up, KT? Regular time today. Regular time today. Yep, regular time today because I have to get the girls off the bus today. Yep, I believe I have to get them. I'll double check to make sure. Good morning, MG Brock. Yeah, so folks, I'll be with you until 2:00 today. I do too. I love elephants. I just, they just doesn't go with the party. But what do we think of the graphic today? I'm wondering if it's going to bring in some folks. Hello for real with Mike. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. You'll be back at noon. Okay, find out. Sounds good. So you guys have heard me talk a little bit about. Look, there it goes. It just sent out the notification. Oh, I hope your chihuahua is okay at the vet. Good morning, Cooper. Yep, me too, Cam. Yep. I wondered about that Blue Honey Pot, but it's really what I wanted it to represent today, and I think it came out great. Right. Ta-da! I love that you're running for Congress, Michelle. I love that. I love that for you. So folks, if you are following me, if you're watching me anywhere other than TikTok, please make sure that you say hello in the chat because I won't be able to see you if you don't speak. If you are watching on Substack, I can't see your comments and I hate that I can't see your comments, but I love that you are here. You love the background. Thank you very much. But I wanted to talk about this particular image represents all of the conversation that I want to have with you all today. And to have a conversation about it. Good morning, Stacy. Yep, I saw it. Just came up. I saw it. What's up, Hark the Harlot? Funny face. Good to see you. Good morning and happy Friday to you as well. What's up, Big Daddy D? So for those of you all who don't know, if you're on TikTok, that is my backup account, my real one, the only one that I do have. So if you haven't already, click that and follow that account. That would be amazing. And we're gonna have a conversation. So for the troll that's on YouTube, and you say, "Is she gay?" I don't know why you're asking, but I'm not interested, no matter what. Okay. Good morning, Jody. Um, I didn't see Jen's live the other day, so I missed it. What's up, Aaron? Hey, Jamie. Hey, Carla. I don't know why they care. I swear it's the short haircut that just fucks them all up. They really believe that like the short haircut is the thing. It's so weird to me. Um, yeah, it's so weird. I have never met a group of people more obsessed with people's sexuality and privates that in my life than the Republican Party of this age. It's crazy. So, good morning, Ella. Good morning, Pentintin. Good to see you guys. Right. It's it's weird. I'm just like, this is why y'all end up going to jail and you can't go on playgrounds or be around children. It's because you focus on things like that. This is the problem. Like, it's not appropriate. It's very weird, folks. This is why you have to turn your lights out on Halloween. um, yeah, I'm not presenting that way in your buy. Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah. Yeah, it's just wild to me. You know what I mean? But it's okay. Good morning, Hussein. Good to see you. Um, I do want to tell you all this. So our friend Bilal, his wife just had to have surgery. She's going through some stuff and some additional testing. So send them some good prayers and good wishes. Oh, thank you, Tech Lady, for the hug. I appreciate that. You know, I love the bear. All right, so a couple of things. Today we do intend to have a Pally panel, but that will be later on in the show. It's 10:10 on the clock. How about that? But we are going to finish some of the conversation. Thank you, Carla. We are going to finish some of the conversation from yesterday. Yesterday we were talking about the fact that this was the talking point, right? Was that racism, Zionism, and Christianity are three of the most harmful things that have happened to, and when I say Christianity, I mean the weaponization of Christianity. That those three things have caused the most harm in society, kind of all the way around. Good morning, Invisible String. Hey, Lena, how are you? Good to see you, Drip. What's up, Breeze? Hey, Chris, Danielle, it's time for veggie and flower planting, everyone. Yep, did mine. The kids and I did mine a weekend ago. So excited about that. All right. So yesterday TikTok got a little ticked off. I guess I don't really know what was happening, and I ended up having to go on my backup for a minute just on somebody else's panel, and so I want to remind you all that that this is my backup, and you can absolutely follow me on that one as well. If anything ever happens, then that would be where I'm at. So. What's up, Baby Mo? Good to see you as well. So, folks, I do want to give a little bit of an update before we dig into things. You all know that I'm a big fan of Tad Stromer, and some of the information that I've given you guys in terms of he wrote the book. It's you saw me on Kiana's live this morning. Yes, I was there. I had a moment. I had a moment, Carla. I was getting ready actually, and so once he brought up the security clearance, I needed to jump on board and give him some information, and kind of I needed to call him out. So anyway, what's up, Steph? Good morning. Good to see you. All right. So listen, Tad Stromer is very disingenuous. He wants to be Tony Robbins, and he's not, right? He's like a Temu Tony Robbins. Good morning, Amanda. So listen, Tad Stromer is where I learned about the 1868 court case, the McCardle case, where Congress actually, I'm just saying, where Congress actually changed the laws regarding a particular type of court case, and it removed the lawsuit, the McCardle lawsuit. It removed that. I'm just saying, Aaron, it removed it. Hey, Terry, good morning. It removed that from the Supreme Court in 1868, right? And this was around the Reconstruction Acts. And I listened to him again this morning, and this is why I ended up kind of shifting a little bit. Yeah, you might have to ring the bell, sunshine to peach. Good morning, Rebel. So if you're not getting a notification, there's like, isn't there like a little bell or something that you have to hit? So like if you hit the heart and then you go all the way down, I think you can click it again for it to no. So Cooper, what happened is I was on Kiana's live this morning, and there was a white dude in there who was just being really disingenuous in the conversation. And so I came up and was talking to him, and he was trying to sound like Tony Robbins and wasn't. And so, whenever you get like the shoddy version of something, it's the Timu version of it. Yes. Thank you, Jody. Resistance history of the United States. Well, yeah, he was a white dude on the panel. He was, Scott. There was a couple of black dudes on the panel, and then there was a white dude on the panel. There was two, I think, at one time. But yeah. And so the position that he took was he sounded a lot like it sounded like he was trying to be Tony Robbins. And so that's why I said Timu, Tony Robbins. All right. So listen, I was listening to Todd Stromer today, and he wrote Resistance History of the United States. And he's so smart. And one of the things that excites me about the information that he shares is that it is applicable to this day, right? It's applicable to the moment in time that we are in, and the ability that we have to not only resist, good morning, Sin, but to also create a Congress that truly does work for the people. Okay. And so this part's incredibly important, and I want to bring it home for you guys because I shared what he gave me before, and I'm going to share that again today. But then I want to talk to you all about this. So everybody has been focusing on, when we talk about what happened with the Voting Rights Act of 1965 and it being gutted, he brought up some points that people aren't hearing. And he also brought up something that the Democratic Party's response was to the gutting of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, right? So how many of you all remember, good morning, Veronica, how many of you all remember that the purpose of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 was to do what? What was the purpose? Why did we need it? What was happening in the South, in the rebel states at the time? What was occurring? Right? What was occurring at that time? Yep. We had Jim Crow. We had poll taxes. There was, right, Amy, it was to ensure Black representation. And why was that necessary? The reason why the Voting Rights Act of 1965 was necessary is because in the South at that time, if you remember, white people in the South, when they voted, the slaves that they owned were counted as 3/5 of a vote, right? 3/5 of a vote to determine what they were going to have in terms of representation, right? Got? And so you're not American. Okay. Yeah, to determine the number of electoral votes that they were getting. But that 3/5 of a person, that 3/5 of a vote, right, was of no benefit to the Black individual, right? The Black or brown person that was adding to the electoral votes of those people was of no benefit to the Black and brown people themselves. And so what the Voting Rights Act of 1965 did was it said, not only are you going to get representation and your vote is going to count for you, but it took away the state's ability to determine who was or wasn't a citizen. Think about that for just a moment, because prior to the Voting Rights Act of 1965, individual states control elections, yes or no? They do. And so the states were determining that Black and brown people could not be citizens in terms of their vote, right? Regardless of the 13th and 14th Amendment, right? I know, Sin. So I figured that this image might bring a few people out today, and I'm fine with it. Y'all know I don't care about the trolls. Okay. So when we start to think about that the individual states, the rebel states, were determining oh my gosh, you guys are going really, really fast. So, Chad, let me just explain this to you. You don't get to say what the focus should be because you only say shit from the chat. So, the day that you want to get on my panel and have a real conversation with me, you'll be able to have your say, but you don't get to say what the focus should be because you just only say shit from the chat. Okay? All right. So, right, he only uses his keyboard. So he doesn't really get a vote. Chad's opinion counts for 3/5 of an opinion. How about that? How about over a candlelight dinner? No thanks. Okay, but listen, this was the part that was really important because here's what he said. So listen, the Democratic response. What was the Democratic response, you all, to the gutting of the Voting Rights Act of 1965? What did the Democratic Party say in response? The Democratic Party said, oh, it's okay. Democrats are going to push us over the line anyway, and we're still going to take the House, right? Why are we turning a literal attack on the Constitution, a literal attack on the foundation of the United States of America, into a debate about the midterms and whether or not Democrats are going to win seats? Right? Because what the Democratic Party should be doing is capitalizing on this moment to talk about what this is. Because listen, the Voting Rights Act of 1965 did not just shape the South, it shaped the entire country, right? Who? Racer? Oh my God. Okay. Who is Racer? Where's Racer? Chad doesn't want to be a helper. Let's just be clear. So, Stella, let me just say this too. It's not even the taxation without representation part. So listen, I want people to not equate this to voting and to taxes. No, it's just citizenship, period. Taxes, no taxes, I don't give a fuck. It's not fair because you do not get to disenfranchise Black and brown citizens of their right to vote and to have that vote be counted or to be to be effective and to have impact, right? And so that's what you don't get to do. And what people do not understand, and I want to point this out to you all. Can someone tell me what the standard period is after the Supreme Court makes a ruling? What is the standard amount of time that passes between the ruling and it going into effect? Does anybody know that standard time period? There you go, Twalk, 32 days. 32 days is the normal time period between the Supreme Court making a ruling and it going into effect. But what did the Supreme Court do in this time? This time, the Supreme Court waived that time period, you all. Because if the Supreme Court upheld the normal 32-day window, Louisiana could not have redone their maps. Did you hear me? Louisiana could not have redone their maps if the Supreme Court had not made it go into effect immediately. So this is a point that I really want to kind of make people understand, is that the impact was intentional. The impact was intentional. Yeah. So this is why I wanted to go back and start to like really bring this home. So what does that mean for us? Okay. That means we have a court that is, I don't even know what word to use about this court anymore. Do you? But what we know is there's no denying that there is an intentional effort being made to redefine the rights of people in this country and to strip away protections that were hard earned and implemented. How much trouble are we in? It depends on what we do about it. Right? So when you say how much trouble are we in, it depends on what we do about it. Right? So if you were not here yesterday or the day before, or 2 days before that, when I talked about the time period between 1860 and 1868, put a 1 in the chat for me. They are not America first. They are not two sides of the same coin. That's not true. That's not even remotely close to being true. Okay. So quite a few of you weren't. What about over here on this side of the world? I know some of you guys come in and come out, and so you may not catch it all. Okay. All right. So welcome, everybody. The question was, how many of you all were not here yesterday or a couple of days ago when I went through the time period of 1860 to 1868, and when I covered the significance of the McCardle case and how we tie that into what's been done to the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and how we apply that to this year in the midterms and moving forward. Okay, so this part's really important, okay, because it's not enough for us to have the conversations about the culture wars, right? You weren't, okay. All right. So we're gonna go back and we're gonna pick some of those things up again, okay? And then we're going to bring them into this moment and how we do something about it. Got it? Is everybody with me on that? Okay. All right. So if you love that. And I know that some of you guys were here and this will be like a repeat session for you. But I don't think repetition hurts. And in this environment, I think repetition is what we need a little bit of, especially when it is strategically done. Okay. Good morning, Chris. Good to see you. So listen, what I want to do is I want to paint a picture for you based on historical fact, not fiction, not, oh, what could we do? Not whatever, right? But how could we actually, based on historical fact, repeat something that worked in the past that led to some of the most prosperous times, especially for minorities in this country, and it moved the country forward. Now, I'm not going to say we didn't take some steps back and there wasn't resistance. Of course there was, right? Yeah, Nance, I did. But I want to talk about how we do that because we don't have to repeat. Here's the great thing about history. we can take lessons from it so that we only repeat the shit that works in a good way and then not repeat the stuff that's horrible and in a bad way, right? Good morning, Job Vibration. Good to see you. Guys, give me 1 second. Give me one second. I forgot to take this. No. 1 second. Da-da-da. Didn't mean to do that. Okay, I need to get my water. All right. So one of the things that I'm not going to be doing today is talking about, just to cover it so everybody knows. That's what I just did, Scotty. I went and grabbed my water. What I'm not going to be talking about today is what the president said about his trip to China or what he said about Taiwan. And the reason why I'm not is because the president lies and he hasn't said anything worth repeating. Just to be honest, the president lies and he hasn't said anything worth repeating. So I'm not going to do that. And one of the things that I would encourage you all to do is do not share misinformation that comes from anybody. When they lie, don't repeat the lie. When they lie, don't repeat the lie. Because when you repeat the lie, people hear the lie again, and then it sinks in even further. Okay? Don't repeat the lie. That will help cut down on the misinformation. Okay? Just want to say that. All right. Now, we're going to go back in time a little bit, and we're going to go to 1860. And those of you guys that have been in here with me for the last couple of days, you already know this, right? But we're going to do it again because this part's important because I want you to be equipped. You know me. I want to show you what history has done for us, how we could use it in this day and age, and then give you the tool to actually make it happen. And the tool is Project for the People, right? Good morning, Cheryl. Good to see you. Okay. Okay. So I feel like I need to share this. Should I share this? Okay. I feel like I should share it. Okay. So remember when I started this conversation, when I started the live today, and I said I just had a very difficult conversation and I was needing to kind of get that energy, the yuck off me, right? Y'all remember that? That's Florida water, by the way. So I was having a conversation with a friend of mine this morning who happens to be Nigerian. And you know how we talk about sometimes the cultures that different groups of people have. And we oftentimes are honest about the fact that in Black and brown communities, the homophobia and the transphobia can be for real. And it's very ingrained. And it comes from just the upbringing and the belief systems, right? So I'm on the phone as I'm getting ready for today's live, and I'm on the phone with this person. And I guess there's something on TV about K-pop beauty. And, you know, K-pop is something that is big in South Korean culture. And even the men get into the K-pop beauty and whatever. And so this person is making this comment. And I'm going to share with you the comment that was made. And then I promise we're going to go back to the subject because I just got a little nudge. And y'all know me, I follow my nudges, right? And so the person said, you know, sometimes I just wonder if this is how the gay stuff spreads. And I immediately was like, what? What are you talking about? And so that he proceeds to tell me about, I know y'all, listen, did y'all not hear me say he's Nigerian though? Listen, did y'all not hear me say that he's Nigerian? So you know, okay? So he's talking about they got these guys and they're doing makeup and they're doing mascara. And I said, what does that have to do with being gay? I said, you do know that putting on makeup doesn't make you gay. It doesn't, it's not a thing. Like you can't catch being gay, right? And so I know, right? And so then it goes, of course, somebody take a guess as to where that conversation went next. From talking about gay spreading to where do you think it went next? What group of people do you think we made it to next? Trans. You got it, Jamie. Now, this is going to be this is going to be interesting. Where do y'all think it went? Did it go? Because there's only two places the trans conversation ever goes. Where do y'all think it went? It didn't go to the bathroom. So where's the other place it went? If it didn't go to the bathroom, sports. There you go. You got it. It went straight to the sports. And so for the next 20 minutes, I'm having this conversation about intersex individuals and DSD individuals, and like not everybody is born with either the stuff that we use to assign male or female sex, right? Oh, thanks, Packard. I appreciate that. Right. It's always sports or bathrooms. And there was a lot of resistance, and I think he could finally hear when I got super, super irritated. Right. And sometimes at one point he was like, okay, I can get that. Right. And then it was just, and one of the things that I've always loved about this individual is even though he is Nigerian, he's usually very open in terms of like being able to kind of consider things. And I said, you know what? I said, the thing that frustrates me about you right now is I've always loved the fact that you're so open to hearing new things, da 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 da. And he was like, I am. And I said, yeah, but you just said that there was nothing that would make you understand. And I said, what you don't understand is that and then he said, I don't have anything against them. Like, I have gay friends. And I said, oh, you sound like white people when they say they have a black friend. And he was like, no. And I said, no, but yes, that's exactly what you sound like. We are discussing gay and trans people, and you just said, oh, I don't have anything against them. I have gay friends. And I said, that is just like white people when we're talking about racism, and they say, oh, I have a black friend. You are tokenizing the gay people in your life. And then he goes, well, I mean, that's not what I'm just saying. And I said, right. And I said, do you know what's so crazy about this? I said, there are people in my life that I love and adore, and I would not have you around them. And he said, what? And I said, yeah, I have a nephew that is gay. I have a nephew that is trans. I have people in my life that I some of my best friends are gay, and I could not have you around those people in my life. And he said, why? And I said, because of the way you talk. And he said, well, I said, it's the verbiage that you use. You sound like a bigot. And he said, I mean, I would never say those things around them. And I said, that's not the point. And he said, well, yes. And he said, I would never say those things. And I said, you don't have to say them. I said, let me ask you a question. I said, you are a black man. When white people are around you and they are racist, do they have to tell you that? Or do you know it? Do white people have to say to you, I don't like black people? Or do you know that they have some sort of bigotry or racism towards black and brown people? Do you not? Don't you feel it? And he said, well, I said, right. They don't have to say it. You know it. You would be different around them, and they would know it. And I would never bring someone around my folks that would know that person is bigoted towards them. I would never do that. And listen, then it was okay, so we can talk about this some more, right? And he said, well, you're the one person that I can talk to about these things, and I listen. And I said, I know you listen. And I am not saying that you should be where I am in my understanding. I said, because this is one conversation that you're having with me. I have these types of conversations all day long for hours at a time. So I'm not asking you to think what I think. What I am saying to you is that the facts actually do matter. And when you desire to show up for people And I said, when you say things like, because he said, he said, I bet right now you can't get a show on in Hollywood if you don't have one gay scene. And I said, oh, you mean like when they started talking about having interracial couples on TV? Do you remember that? Do you remember that? When they didn't like the fact that Black people were on TV shows now? I said, there are about as many DSD individuals and intersex individuals in the world as there are redheads and as there are left-handed people. And I said, and you know what's crazy is those people were demonized at one point in time too. Those people were demonized at one point in time too. And then we know better. And when we know better, we do better. Right? So, when I got on this morning, because I tend to get very like, I got mad at one point. And I think what really got his attention was when I said, there are people in my life I would not bring you around. And the reason I'm sharing this with you all is that, do you remember the other day when it was yesterday, when, who was on my panel yesterday? And was it yesterday or the day before? When we were talking about race and everybody was like, oh, she's got some more deconstructing to do. Do y'all remember what I'm talking about? And we started talking about the fact that the way that you behave and the way that you're an ally, right? The way that Gossamer, you got it, Lanny. And the way that you are an ally is you address it in the moment when it happens. Was it yesterday? Y'all know I can't keep my days straight. But here's the thing, y'all, I knew he was going to irritate my soul with this fucking conversation. Listen, I knew as soon as I heard him say, oh, see, I just wonder if this is how gay spread. I knew that if I said something, that conversation was going to irritate my soul. And I knew I was going to have to start the show in 30 minutes, right? But I could not speak up. Did you hear me? I could not speak up. We can't step over the moments because we don't have time for them, or because they're uncomfortable, or because they're irritating, or because they are whatever, right? Oh, it ended fine, Conchita. I mean, he loves me to death. So, and he was like, yeah, we can talk some more about this later. Yeah, we can. But I'm saying this because I want you all to understand, in every situation, whether it is about racism, whether it is about the attack on the Constitution that is currently happening, whether it is about LGBTQ community, whatever that is, right? When the moment happens, it's our responsibility to address it in the moment, right? Even if you have to say, listen, I don't have time to go into this full discussion now, but you just said something that I need to address. I need to say this to you right now in the moment, and then we can come back to it. Right? Good morning, Jules. And so I'm sharing that with you all to say that right now, in these moments, it is critical that you address every teachable moment. Good morning, Sandra. And there's this fine line, you all. Right. You address it in the moment, Carla. And what's the other key to that? What's up, Ahmed? What's the other key is to have it in such a way. Do you all remember when I first had my conversation with Sherry? What did I say to do y'all remember that in that conversation with Sherry, the first time that I met her? Well, so Amanda, I don't think it should be without emotions. I think emotions should be there. I just think that they should be authentic. And I think that those emotions should be done in such a way that if you see, there she is. Hey, Sherry. So what do I say we have to bring to every conversation? It should be compassion, authenticity. Yep. Respect and vulnerability. And you can say things, and as long as you are bringing empathy and vulnerability and compassion, right? Then you're not saying them with hate. You're not saying them with degradation. You're not saying them to cause harm, right? So, like when I literally said, "You sound like a bigot," normally you would think that saying bigot to someone would make them angry, but he didn't get mad. Why? Because of the way that we were having the conversation, right? And this is the part where, listen, y'all, when we get into how we have the conversations, how do we share information with people? Because people do not care how much you know until they know how much you care. Why is it every time you say something online, the conservatives start with a name calling? Well, I'm not saying that they use the same techniques I do, right? How do you respond to their name calling? Right? Yeah. See, so it just depends. And it's not always one set way of doing things, Midnight Voice. It depends upon the conversation and the person that you're having the conversation with, right? Well, so Annie, I do engage. I do engage. And it also depends on what they're saying. So listen, folks. Number one, I don't take what people say personal. I don't. Because then folks don't know me. Why do I give a fuck about what they say? I don't. Listen, they can't find anything new to say to me on here. Not the trolls or the bots. They come in here every day and they are either going to say something about my short haircut. They're going to ask, am I a boy or a girl? Am I gay or I'm not? They might say something about the size of my nose. Usually that's because it's bigger than their member and they're jealous. Or they might say something about my laugh, right? Right? They might say something about my laugh being like Kamala Harris or something like that. But other than that, what can they say? Nothing. They are looking for a reaction from you. They are looking to distract from you. They are looking, right? And my thing is, if that's all you got, I done heard that shit my whole life. You think you're the first person to ever make a joke about my nose? Or about whether I'm too light or too dark or too anything else? Do you really think that? I've been on this planet over half a century. You're not going to come up with nothing new. And the bottom line is no matter what you say, I'm going to still be here every day giving facts that fucking matter and giving people the information they need to help create the country that we all desire and deserve to live in. Okay, Macaroni, sending you lots of love and prayers for Sue. Right? So it's not going to change nothing. And they are not the majority. Okay? Thank you, Miss Moles. Okay? So let's talk about real things because I want to give you all something that is real, that happened historically, and how we use it to do what we need to do in terms of these midterms. Because when I share this with you, it should make you excited. It should make you hopeful. It should make you empowered because this is something that you can actually put to use. You ready? All right. So when we think about, that one's always a good one. Word salad. The fuck? Y'all are funny, but it's okay. All right. So here we go. All right. So 1860, South Carolina becomes the first state to secede from the Union. right? And you will meet people in your life that will say to you that the Civil War was not about slavery, that it was about states' rights. And what I would share with you is that the Civil War was about states' rights, but it was about the states' rights to enslave Black and brown people. That's what it was about. Those were the states' rights that were in question. Okay. And South Carolina told us that, right? So if you are in here and you have never heard me share with you part of South Carolina's secession document, put a 1 in the chat. If you've never heard me share South Carolina's secession document, put a 1 in the chat. Okay, let's connect some dots for everybody, okay? So, I still have it pulled up. This is when your ADHD comes in really handled. Okay, handy. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you guys over here, and I want you guys to stay in with this, okay? So the very first part of this document, they spend a lot of time setting the stage and the foundation for why their secession is legal, why their secession is justified, and they do it by comparing the position that they are in to the position that the 13 colonies were in when we left Britain, okay? So, first of all, the title of this, all magnetic people, I'm sure. First of all, this is the title, Confederate States of America, Declaration of the Immediate Causes. Buenos dias, Mr. Barrios. Good morning, Jay Nice. Immediate causes which induce and justify the secession of South Carolina from the federal union. So they are telling you, we are declaring the immediate causes, the things that are making us do this right now, right? That are inducing us, that are causing us to secede from this union and that justify us doing so. Okay. And so they talk about the fact that they were all free and independent states beforehand, before they all agreed to this new constitution. Okay. And here's what's important about this constitution that they are referring to. So in the Constitution, Article 4, here's what it says. It says, here we go. The Constitution of the United States, in its 4th article, provides as follows, quote, no person held to service or labor in one state under the laws thereof, escaping into another, shall, in consequence of any law or regulation therein, be discharged from such service or labor, but shall be delivered up on claim of the party to whom such service or labor may be due. So in layman's terms, they just said, listen, if our enslaved Black and brown people get to your free state, they're not free and you have to give them back. And they put that into the 4th article of the Constitution. Got it? And then South Carolina goes on to say something that is so important, you all. It says the stipulation was so material to the compact that without it, that compact would not have been made. In other words, they said, this is my non-negotiable. South Carolina said, listen, if you don't agree that if our enslaved Black and brown people don't get to be free when they come to you and you won't give them back, then we're not joining. It's a non-negotiable. It's not going to happen. If you do not include this provision in the compact, we're not joining. Would you say sorry for, Alice? Oh, you mean for accidentally tapping your way in the request? No problem. Appreciate you, Elizabeth, for the winks. Okay. So it was so important to the state of South Carolina that they get their enslaved people back, that they were refusing to join the federal union unless that was included in the Constitution. Okay. And it goes on to say, the greater number of the contracting parties held slaves, and they had previously evinced their estimate of the value of such a stipulation by making it a condition in the ordinance for the government of the territory, right? Okay. So then it goes on to say, the same article of the Constitution stipulates also for rendition by the several states of fugitives from justice from the other states. And when they talk about this, they said, listen, for many years, these laws were executed, but an increasing hostility on the part of the non-slaveholding states to the institution of slavery has led to a disregard of their obligations. In other words, y'all don't like slavery anymore, and you are hostile towards slavery. So you've stopped giving us back our enslaved people when they get to your free state. Good morning, M. And listen to what it says. It says, even the states of Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New York, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Ohio. Not Ohio, geez. And Iowa have enacted laws which either nullify the acts of Congress or render useless any attempt to execute them. In many of these states, the fugitive is discharged from service or labor claimed, and in none of them has the state government complied with the stipulation made in the Constitution. And so they said, listen, we're out. We are no longer bound to this compact with you, right? Because of that. So they seceded because of slavery, period, right? And so what people need to understand is that when the argument is made that it's not about slavery, yes, it was, right? And then what happens from 1961 to 1966, we have the Civil War that takes place. And then out of the Civil War, we had what? We had losers. The losers were the Confederate States. Okay. So for all of you all flying a Confederate flag, that's treasonous. Okay. Because that flag was on the losing side. Okay. It goes against the United States of America to be flying that flag. All right. Just saying. Now, in 1965, in the middle of that Civil War, what happened? We got the 13th Amendment. And the 13th Amendment kind of, sort of, a little bit, freed Black and brown people. Kind of, sort of, a little bit. Okay? What it says is, you can't be put into slavery except as punishment for a crime. And so after we had the 13th Amendment, we then had what? We had black code laws and all of these different laws so that if you jaywalked, you could be enslaved and da-da-da-da-da. And that was happening in the Confederate States, okay? And so the Confederate States were still saying, listen, you can't, you can have a poll tax, you can do this, you can do that, but literacy tests, like you still do not get access to all of your rights as a human being. You don't get to be a citizen in the United States of America. You don't get all your rights as a citizen here because we, the state, say so. And Congress was like, that's not going to work for us. Okay. So when the Southern states were refusing to comply with the 13th and the 14th Amendment, Congress passed some other laws between 1867 and 1868. Those laws were called the Reconstruction Acts, okay? And those laws were vetoed 5 times by racist ass Andrew Johnson from Tennessee, who was the president at the time. And then Congress overturned them and still got them passed, okay? So now we are at 1968. And the rebel Confederate states don't want to tell the enslaved people that they are free, and they don't want to tell them that their children are automatically citizens, right? They don't want to do that. Good morning, Bronze, okay? And Congress is saying, did I say 1868. Yes, Desi, that's what I meant. 1868 is where we're at. Okay. Good morning, Audra. So 1868, Congress passes the Reconstruction Act, which then says we're going to take these rebel states and we're going to divide them up into 5 different districts, and we're going to deploy our military to enforce the 13th and 14th Amendment. You got it? And this is why it took 2 years for the military to get down to Texas, for those people to know that they were free. That's why we got Juneteenth, right? Okay. Yep. Martial law in the South. That's why. Because they didn't want to honor the 14th Amendment. It took the military coming there. It took the federal government passing those laws. So when people say to me, whether it is about AB, whether it is about education, no matter what it is about, when people say to me, why not just give it back to the states? My answer is always because history has told me different. History has told me that if we leave it up to the states, many of the states will not give us the rights that we are entitled to by law in this country. We already know that when it was up to the states, women did not get all of their rights. We know when it was up to the states, Black and brown people did not get all of their rights. We're not giving it back to the states. And that's why the Supreme Court gutting the 1965 Voting Rights Act is a fucking problem. Because the Constitution gives all provision for elections to the states. So did you all know that? States are responsible for when they have elections, where they have elections, how often that's state laws. All of the states have their own laws and they have their jurisdiction over elections. The only thing that the federal government has to do with elections is financing. They help fund those elections. Okay. So when the Supreme Court guts the Voting Rights Acts of 1965, they are now giving, to some degree, states the right to determine how much of your rights you get when it comes to voting. Because it's not just about, do I get to have access to my vote? It's, does my vote get to matter? Or are you intentionally disenfranchising me and my vote? Are you diluting the impact of my vote when compared to everyone else? And the reason that you have to now get that this is intentional and that the Supreme Court is complicit is because that 32-day window, when normally when the Supreme Court makes a decision, it's at least 32 days before that decision goes into effect. This Supreme Court waived that 32-day period and issued it effective immediately so that Louisiana had time to redraw their maps. Because had they waited 32 days, Louisiana, it would have been too late. So you need to understand that this act taken by this Supreme Court was intentional to attack the Constitution. I really want you all to get that the people sitting on the highest court in the land made a special provision so that we could disenfranchise Black and brown voters. And this is a direct attack on the Constitution. It is a direct attack on the nation as a whole. And when Democrats' response to that is, oh, well, we're still going to win the midterms, you're missing the fucking point. And you're not talking about the thing that people need to be talking about. The Democratic Party needs to be talking about the attack on the Constitution. The Democratic Party needs to be talking about the attack on the makeup of our country. Stop making this about seats. Stop making this about the midterms. This is about so much more than that. People are acting like this is not a huge deal, but it is. And I want to remind you all, because I said this in 2024, and I'm going to say it again. So, Vance, why don't you join the panel and we can talk about your comment while I grab this book. I sent you an invitation, so please join. Did y'all hear my damn phone take a picture of itself? I swear when I shake it and my stand hits the back of my phone, it thinks it's a double tap. Okay, so Vance, I guess you're not joining, right? No? That's what I thought. Just sit on down there and act crazy. Just saying. No, girl, that's literally I have it on a stand. And as soon as I sat down and it jostled, it thought it double tapped the back of my phone, so it took a picture. Now, I want to remind you, how many of you all were not following me before the 2024 election? Put a 1 in the chat if you were not following me before the 2021 election. 2024, damn it, 2024. I'm tired, y'all. There's a ton of y'all. Okay. So before that election, the people that were following me before the 2024 election, put a heart in the chat for me. These are the OG Danikins. All right. So the OG Danikins and I, we were talking about this book that was written by Kevin Roberts. Look at my old school Danikins. I love all of y'all that are here now. I really do. And I appreciate y'all. So we started talking about a book that was written by Kevin Roberts. Kevin Roberts is the president of the Heritage Foundation. Now, he was the president of the Heritage Foundation in the summer of 2024. But in July, when Project 2025 became mainstream media, he resigned. And he did something else that was really slick. Appreciate you, Sam, right? He did something else that was really slick. He had a book that was due to come out in September of 2024. What's up, Carlos? But he changed the publication date of the book, and he pushed it till 1 week after the election. Literally 1 week to the day after the election, he changed when his book was coming out, okay? The original name of the book was Dawn's Early Light, Burning Down Washington to Save America. And it had a big old match in the middle of a red cover, in the middle of a red cover. Okay. Now, a couple of, the New Republic was one of them, but a couple of people started talking about the foreword that was written to this book. The foreword was written by the current Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance. And when I first started sharing this with people, I specifically started pointing out certain laws and certain things. So listen, and I am not Miss Cleo, and yeah, hold on. They're bringing me a new dishwasher, y'all. Hold on. I heard you roll it down the hallway. Come on in.
All right. We'll set this aside for a minute. We're going to yank out the old one first.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you. Okay. All right. So y'all don't know how glad I am to have this damn dishwasher because anyway, but so listen. So I'm going to read to you all part of this forward because when I started sharing this, people were astounded because of what it says and what it doesn't say. Now, listen, you know, sometimes it's important what they don't say as well as what they do say because they are really good at messaging. I think if anybody is being honest, they will admit that the conservatives are really good at messaging. Yes. Good morning, Tiffany. Good to see you. But you got to hear what they're saying and understand. So listen to J. So JD Vance wrote this forward, and I want you to listen to the end of it, okay? So he says, we need more than a politics that simply removes the bad policies of the past. We need to rebuild. We need an offensive conservatism, not merely one that tries to prevent the left from doing things we don't like. And he said, here's an analogy I sometimes use to articulate what the previous generation of conservatives got right and wrong. Imagine a well-maintained garden in a patch of sunlight. It has some imperfections, of course, and many weeds. The very thing that makes it attractive for the things we try to cultivate makes it attractive for the things that we don't. In an effort to eliminate the bad, a well-meaning gardener treats the garden with a chemical solution. This kills many of the weeds, but it also kills many of the good things. Undeterred, the gardener keeps adding the solution. Eventually, the soil is inhospitable. In this analogy, modern liberalism is the garden is our country, and the voices discouraging the gardener were conservatives. This is the part I really want you to hear. We were right, of course, in an effort to correct problems, some real, some imagined. We made a lot of mistakes as a country in the 1960s and 1970s. But to bring the garden back to health, it is not enough to undo the mistakes of the past. The garden needs to not just stop adding a terrible solution, though it does need that. It needs to be recultivated. Now I want to pause right there, and I want to point out a couple of things. So he said that we made mistakes as a country trying to correct problems, and some of those problems were real, and some of those problems were imagined. And we made those mistakes as a country, right, in the 1960s and 1970s. So in the 1960s and 1970s, I want you to think about federal legislation, federal actions that the government took as a whole, as an entire country, that was meant to correct problems, that was meant to correct wrongs. What were they? Were they not? The Voting Rights Act of 1965, the Fair Housing Act of 1968, the Voting Rights, right, FOIA, the Civil Rights Amendments, women's rights. Yep. And it's interesting that he talks about these being mistakes. He said it was a mistake for us to do these things, and we need to undo them. Y'all, that's JD Vance talking. That is the current Vice President of the United States of America, who says that those things need to be undone because they were mistakes. Yep, we integrated schools. And he said, because some of those things weren't really, really problems. They were just your imagination. And then he goes on to say this. Appreciate you guys. He says, as Kevin Roberts writes, quote, it's fine to take a laissez-faire approach when you are in the safety of the sunshine. But when the twilight descends and you hear the wolves, you've got to circle the wagons and load the muskets. We are now all realizing that it's time to circle the wagons and load the muskets. In the fights that lay ahead, these ideas are an essential weapon. So, number one, I want you to hear what he said. He said that the ideas that he's laying out are essential, and he knows that they are weapons. So what do weapons do? Are weapons supposed to cause harm? Yes or no? If I weaponize something, is it meant to cause harm to someone? 100%. So that means that the person that is now the current vice president of the United States intends to cause harm. And he intends to cause harm to a particular group of people, right? And it's to the people that benefited from things that we did as a country in the 1960s and the 1970s, which would be two specific groups of people. It would be Black and brown people, and it would be women. Would it not? If we look at the 1960s and the 1970s, it would be women and Black and brown people, right? And that is why, my friends, you have the SAVE Act. That is why you have the gutting of the 1965 Voting Rights Act. That is why you have the intentional waiving of the 32-day period, waiting period, so that Louisiana can automatically redistrict their maps. Now, the thing that's great about this, okay, is history has given us a tool to utilize for this, because we've had this before. We've had this before. We've had a Supreme Court that likes to violate civil rights and that is racist, and we've had a president that was racist and also a fascist, right? Well, yeah, it'll get disabled people, 100%. So let me hold on. It will be a little bit more of a byproduct, though. But anyway, so let me keep going. So I want you all to really stop and think about what they are saying to you. There's a particular group of people that they intend to cause harm to because there's a particular society that they desire to create. And this is not my opinion. This is me reading their words and me telling you what their words actually say, right? So Kevin Roberts is not a nice man. And by the way, do y'all want to know what he likes to specialize in? Do y'all know what Kevin Roberts specializes in? He wrote an entire PhD on enslaved Black people. Yep. He has a PhD in American history with a specialization in slavery and African American studies. He studied the enemy. Yep. How about that? Sure did. Okay, so I want to share with you all what Kevin Roberts says. Okay, so first of all, he calls Democrats the party of destruction, and he calls the uniparty the establishment, right? Let me share this with you all. He says, the party of destruction viewed the existing order of human life as a prison. Religion, it averred, didn't provide human beings with meaning. It entangled people in superstition. It's just what he labels it. Hold on, y'all. Just listen. That part is not really, listen to this part. Old-fashioned craft or guild businesses didn't cultivate excellence and skill. They trapped people in traditional work. Culture, law, and strong family ties didn't provide life-giving civic life. They repressed people by forcing them into traditional villages and traditional gender roles. A lack of education trapped people in a folk mindset. Traditional institutions trapped people in hierarchy, superstitious religion, and old ways of doing things. Rather than negotiating trade offs between different underlying traditional values, the party of destruction, who he calls the Democrats, sought the revolutionary reestablishment of all human relationships. What did it want instead? It almost can't help but sound appealing if only we can forget what it really means. So he's decided what it really means for you. And he said, the party of destruction wants liberation, emancipation. What connects, and this is him in quotes, he said, what connects the liberation of liberalism, the world revolution of communism, and the critical of critical theory is a vision in which tradition is the enemy of human potential, in which the individual must be freed from everything that stands in the way of his self-expression, whether he wishes to be freed or not, perhaps especially if he wishes to retain a traditional way of life. The party of destruction is the enemy of the existing human order as such, the enemy of all human orders. He studied African American history, which would include critical race theory. But I want you to hear what he is saying to you. He thinks that because some people desire to be free to live a non-traditional life, that means people want to force him to be non-traditional, which that's not what it means at all. It means mind your damn business. That's all it means, is mind your damn business. You live the way you want to live, and I'll live the way I want to live. And then he says, listen to this part, because this part's really going to get y'all. He says, at least the communists didn't mince words, saying in the Communist Manifesto that, quote, communists everywhere support every revolutionary movement against the existing social and political order of things, end quote. But none of the other factions of the party of destruction has made much of an attempt to conceal their program. In fact, they're proud of it. But here's the most uncomfortable truth of all. The parasites that have taken over so much of our country, the pantsuited girl boss advertising executives, the skittle-haired they-them activists, the soy-faced, pajama-clad, work-from-home HR apparatchiks, the Adderall-addicted dog mom diversity consultants, the nasally voiced Ivy League regulatory lawyers, the obese George Soros funded police abolitionist district attorneys, the hipster trust fund socialites. They are some of the least impressive people in the history of the world. The Uniparty would never have achieved what it has in this country without a great degree of rottenness, of decadence, of torpor, of complacency already afflicting us. The first enemy we must face in our crusade to take back our country is within ourselves. Hey, Rosalind. I believe, this is him talking, I believe that our best days are in front of us. There are no shortcuts or silver bullets. America's restoration is a task that will require generational sacrifice and toil. The seeds of its renewal, however, are numerous, and many are already in the ground. To see them sprout and watch them grow, we need only to strike the match and burn away the deadwood. I want you all to understand that they desire for you to sacrifice and toil because they have a world that they desire to create. Marilyn, I hope you're joking, right? Because he's literally talking about destroying everybody that has rights, black and brown people, women. He literally wants to burn down our civil rights. And he calls the Republican Party the uni party. And he says that there's parts of the uniparty that need to also be killed because they have allowed this liberalism to grow. Oh, girl, I had to be sure. This is Kevin Roberts, who is the president of the Heritage Foundation and the current vice president of the United States, wrote the foreword to this book. Well, they tell you. You need me to move that? You good?
You're good.
Okay. All right. I want to tell you all another part of what he said, okay? He says that in the 1980s under Reagan, that they won the political fight, but they lost the spiritual war. Okay? Yeah, but I want you all to understand, yes, Vance's wife is brown. She's also from India, which has a caste system. A caste system is very similar. Ooh, the Texas Supreme Court rejects the governor's efforts to remove the Democrat. Bless you. Hold on, that was a thing that just came through. Hold on, y'all. Stop. I need Texas's Supreme Court rejects the removal of Democratic lawmakers who led a quorum break over redistricting. They cannot be removed. Also, everybody should know that the Supreme Court is also keeping access to mifepristone, right? Well, I don't know that she holds. Well, I think his wife is a little bit different. Yep, Wawa a glimmer. So it's just important to remember the similarities between racism and a caste system, okay? It's important to know those similarities. I think Blue Honey Pot, it's just, so basically rich people marry other rich people and you don't really change. Like whatever you're born into is whatever you are. And they stay within their system. So let me see if there's a graphic. Hold on, because I don't want to go into it too much because it's not really the focus that I want to. Let me see if this is a better one to show. Yeah, this one's a decent graphic to share. Give me a second. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so let me show you guys. So this is their caste hierarchy. So priests and academics or teachers are at the top. Warriors and rulers come next. Merchants, traders, and farmers are in the middle. Laborers are down here. And then the oppressed and backward classes. It's crazy to me that you actually have a designation for people that are oppressed, but yes, they do. So this is their caste system. And so someone from here doesn't marry someone down here. Like you're born into a caste system and you're not getting up here. Okay? So, and this is not a lesson on caste, right? Of course, that's an overly simplified way of explaining it. However, what's important to understand is that it's a society, right? It's determined by birth, okay? And that is why, yep, which again is part of birth. So, anyway, I want you to hear some of the other things that he says because this part's important. So remember how we talk about the weaponization of Christianity, right? And anybody who's being honest will admit that religion has been weaponized in politics for a very, very long time, right? And one of the things that Kevin Roberts talks about is how we need a spiritual component to this fight. And when I say we, I don't mean me, I mean him. Okay. What's up, Dr. Amy? Good to see you. Okay. And so I'm going to share a little bit more. Okay. Are you guys ready? So he's talking about how Ronald Reagan did this great turnaround back in the 1970s at the dawn of the 1980s, right? And this was when he was going up against Jimmy Carter, right? And there, he says there had been a painful economic disruption and stagnant growth with fiscal insolvency and a massive energy crisis, right? And he says everyday Americans were suffering as inflation spiraled upward. Kind of sounds familiar. Wages didn't keep up. Kind of sounds familiar. And rising interest rates put owning a home further and further out of reach. Again, kind of sounds familiar. Energy prices crept steadily higher. Sounds familiar. Supply failed to keep up with demand, and a recession loomed. Violent crime raged on the city streets. I don't really know about that. And once flourishing urban centers were emptying out. In the wake of violent killings and riots, racial tensions had never been worse. This is how he's describing the 70s. Do y'all remember the 70s that way? Y'all, CI Trader is never getting in the box. They come in here to disrupt and distract. That's all. CI Trader is not getting on the panel. They never do. They just come in here to distract. But yeah, CI Trader has Dani derangement syndrome. Okay. Hella, Raja. But I'm just saying. So listen, he says, beneath the turmoil lay something deeper. President Carter put his finger on the problem in a July 15th, 1979 primetime address called The Crisis of Confidence. And that's what he says. So listen to what he says. What America was facing, he claimed, he's talking about Jimmy Carter. And he says, no, I literally just said that's not the subject matter. Okay. And he says that Jimmy Carter said what America was facing was not really an energy crisis, but a spiritual one. Quote, the erosion of our confidence in the future is threatening to destroy the social and the political fabric of America. Now, listen to that quote. The quote that he just read from Jimmy Carter didn't mention spirituality, did it? And it didn't mention religion. It said, quote, the erosion of our confidence in the future is threatening to destroy the social and political fabric of America. Right? So, well, that was the 60s and the 70s. So listen, he goes on to say, in the face of serious problems such as energy shortages, high inflation, stagnant growth, and exploding crime, Americans found nothing but gridlock, stasis, and decline. Americans were losing faith, not just in their government, but in the idea of self-government. I don't recall that to be a thing. Do you all recall that to be a thing? Because I don't recall that to be a thing. I mean, granted, I was young, but I don't recollect any of this in that time period, right? But he says that Carter's speech is normally remembered today as the malaise speech. But then he says this, thanks to a bit of clever branding from Ronald Reagan. Why did it stick? Because despite putting his finger on the problem, Carter himself was stuck. And so then he talks about what Ronald Reagan did and that it was this turnaround. Oh, I love that, Tracy. Well, no, he doesn't. Definitely. And they won't. Yeah, the energy crisis, and then that's it. So this is, again, Kevin Roberts. He says that what we are facing today are spiritual problems, and spiritual problems require spiritual solutions. To say that America's problems are spiritual requires no religious faith. It's an empirical statement. This is what Kevin Roberts believes, you all. He says it's an empirical statement. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but I don't want anybody else's religion dictating solutions. And then he goes on to quote the Bible. Are you ready? He quotes Galatians 5:22 through 23, which is crazy because if you know that scripture, you know that scripture is the fruits of the Spirit. It is Christian nationalism, Merlot. That's the point. But if you know Galatians 5:22 and 23, that is the fruits of the Spirit. And he says, quote, by their fruits you shall know them, the good book says. Now, he didn't list the fruits, y'all. He didn't list the fruits. Now, let me tell you what he goes on to say. He says, spiritual reality, listen to this, spiritual reality has to do with an inner substance, which cannot necessarily be seen on the surface, but which with equal necessity will show itself over time until the outer appearance matches the inner reality. What do you mean? He says, you will know them by their fruits, but by the way, you won't be able to see that. That's not what Jesus said. That's not what the Bible says. And so here's what they believe, you all. They believe that by having the Civil Rights Acts and the Voting Rights Acts and the Fair Housing Act and all of the legislation and all of the integration and the evolution of women in society and in places, ERA, all the things. They believe that those things are what's caused us to be in the place that we are in now. They do not see corporate greed and vulture capitalism as being the catalyst for where we are. They are just saying that, oh, these things changed, so they are responsible for everything that we don't like that exists today. Because they're not understanding that correlation is not causation, and that there are actually other things that took place during the same time frame that caused the things that we don't like. And so they are choosing a culture war rather than an actual fact-based conversation, a policy war. They want to make it about your culture and your spirituality, right? And if your spirituality doesn't align with theirs, then yours is not correct. Do you understand? That's how they get to culture wars. Because if they can keep you in a culture war, they do not have to talk about policy. And policy is where the problems exist and the solutions can be found. Now, remember when we started this live, we started talking about what was happening in 1860 down to 1868. And remember when I said that Congress had passed the Restoration Acts of 1867 and 1868, and that is what enabled the US military to go into the rebel states to actually uphold the 13th and 14th Amendments, right? So here's what happened after that, and this is where our lesson needs to be. What happened after that was there was a court case, et al. McCardle, and that court case, right, was actually saying that the Reconstruction Acts were not constitutional. And what Congress understood was that we had a racist Supreme Court, right, and a racist fascist president, and they did not want to have those advancements undone. So what Congress did is while that court case was before the Supreme Court and they were in deliberations, Congress passed a law that took away certain types of court cases from the Supreme Court's jurisdiction. And so in the middle of deliberating for that court case, the Supreme Court lost jurisdiction over that case. And then Congress expanded the court officially to 9 seats. 9 seats for every district. 9 seats for every district. You got it? So what can we learn by that? What we know, what's been demonstrated in historical fact, is that Congress has the ability to not only put checks and balances on the executive branch, they have the ability to, in some ways, right, be able to put checks and balances on the judicial branch. So in 6 months, we get to determine what the makeup of Congress looks like. And then we get to perfect what that makeup of Congress looks like in 2028, and then again in 2030 and 2032, right? So this should give you hope, and it should empower you to know that if we get on the ball and do our due diligence over the next 6 months, we can put a Congress into office that will absolutely put this administration, no, they just brought me a new dishwasher, right? And put this administration in check, and also, right, be able to check what the Supreme Court does or doesn't do. Now, some of you have been asking me, how do we do that? I believe we do that in 3 ways, okay? And I really want y'all to listen with me. Hey, William, nice to see you. Let me take a drink of water, y'all. Hold on. So here's how we do this, all right? The first is through elections. We have to get the doctor, go look up McCardle. That's what I want you to do. I want you to go look up McCardle. Because what you just said is inaccurate. What you just said is inaccurate. So the doctor, would you like to come talk to me about it? I doubt that you will. You'll talk shit in the chat because you don't know facts. I want you to go look up the historical court case that I just gave you. That's all you got to do. Hey, receive grace. All right. So here's the key. There are 3 processes that will bring about progress for us in this country. One is going to be elections and getting serious about winning elections and having a winning strategy for elections, right? Here's what I'm not doing. I'm not doing fuckery anymore today. That's what I'm not doing. No more fuckery today. No more fuckery today. Boop, boop, boop. Done. All done. How do I spell what? The court case? I did. 2 of them. McCardle, MC, and then CARDLE. That's the court case. And literally, if you just Google court case Congress took away from the Supreme Court, it will come up for you. And then you'll be able to read all about the Reconstruction Acts of 1967 and 1968, and that court case was challenging whether or not those laws, the Reconstruction Acts, were constitutional. That's what you'll see. Okay. So there are 3 ways, there are 3 processes that we have to get very intentional about. And this is how we use these 3 things to get the country on track. Notice I didn't say back on track. I said on track, because I don't really know if we've ever really truly been on track. But we have to get there. And so the first is getting serious about winning elections. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Now, the question that I have for everybody that's in here that's listening right now is it what you truly want? And are you willing to work for it? Or are you just full of shit on TikTok? That's the question, is are you willing to work for the democracy that you say you desire to keep? Are you willing to put in effort? Are you willing to be uncomfortable? Are you willing to sweat? Are you willing to put in time? Are you willing to do those things? Because that's what's required. Okay, so I want to show you. So I'm going to take down my background because there's a couple of things that I'm going to go over with you guys. All right. And then we can talk about some other things in case you all need to. Let me hide this. Okay. So the first thing I said was we have to get serious about winning elections. And so what does that look like? Okay. So that looks like having accurate election data, which tells us where to go and what communities we can actually make something happen in. So what a lot of people do not know is that in 2024, we had 12 states in this country that had margins of 10% or less. If you did not know that, put a 1 in the chat. And if you only knew that because I told you that, put a 1 in the chat. Okay. In 2024, there were 12 states in this country that had margins of 10% or less. And so what I decided to do was to take a look historically at those 12 states. And so what I did was I went through the election data of those 12 states, right? And I looked at that election data for the last 5 years. So I'm going to show you, Warrior Squirrel. So listen. So what I did was I looked at their data for the last 5 years. And then I looked at their data for every county in those states that had margins of 10% or less. So not just the state, but any county in that state that had margins of 10% or less. And so what I wanted to see is, do these states have margins of 10% or less for the majority of the last 5 years, right? Not every year maybe, but for the majority of the last 5 years. And so I took those states. And then once I identified those that for the majority of the last 5 years, right? Then I came to a final 16 counties in each state. So this is Michigan's. I have Michigan, Wisconsin, Virginia, New Jersey, Georgia, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Minnesota, Arizona, New Hampshire, and New Mexico. Okay. Now, why is this important? So if I look at these 16 counties in Michigan, it gives me a lot of data because then I can see what House seats these counties have in common, right? How many of these counties are in House District 1? How many of these counties are in House District 2 or 8, right? And then you look at how you can build power with those counties. So this is what that looks like in real time. In Michigan, the Democratic Party lost that election by 80,000 votes. With just these 16 counties, right? There were 47,000 people that voted third party. That accounts for 59% of this deficit. And in just these 16 counties, guess what? 1.1 million people that were registered to vote didn't even bother to fucking vote. So what does that tell me? That tells me is that if I invest my time and my energy and my knowledge and my intention in these 16 states, then we've got a cakewalk when it comes to Michigan come 2028. Appreciate you, Benny. Thank you, guys. Right? And so then guess what else it shows me? So I'm going to take House District 1 for Michigan. Okay. Yeah, that was a really cool gift, wasn't it? So check this out. So now if I look at House District 1, which is considered to be one of the reddest districts in Michigan, it's a 60-40 district. Okay. There was 100,000 votes. They lost by 101,000 votes, right? Out of the 16 counties up here, only four of them are in House District 1. But out of those four, there were 53,000 people that either voted third party or were registered to vote and didn't vote at all. That's 53% of the deficit needed. So I could cut this in half by just focusing on these four counties. And there's 20 other counties in this damn state, right? Are y'all with me on that? Everybody following? So when I talk about winning elections and getting serious about winning elections, I mean looking at the data and finding out where the people are. And the reason why I'm interested in voters that are registered to vote that didn't vote is because that's the low-hanging fruit. Follow me? Somebody that has registered to vote at some point in time wanted to be a part of this process. They desired to cast their vote at some point in time. And so the conversation with them is, what happened? What kept you from voting? Are you sick of all of the daggone super PAC money? Are you sick and tired of all the political rhetoric? Are we not focusing on policies? What's important to you? What do you want to see? What would make you get off the couch and come cast a ballot? And that brings me to the second part. You follow me? The second part of the process after elections is communities and conversations. That part of the process is where we really have to be strong, right? So check this out. When you start to talk about what do I talk to people about? Well, I believe that people want to talk about the things that impact their daily life. I believe that people want to talk about the policies that impact their daily lives. And what are those? I call it hee because it makes me remember, okay? It's healthcare, education, housing, and economic mobility. Those four things. And almost every issue comes back to those four things, right? Like I said, I call it hee. I'm going to put my backdrop up for just a second, folks, okay? So when you start to, so I want you to think about the people that are in your lives. And this is just going to be like a quick test. If you or anyone, hey, Hilda, if you or anyone in your life that you know is on SNAP or Medicaid, put a 1 in the chat. If you know anybody that gets SNAP or is on Medicaid, put a 1 in the chat. I want you all to look at all the ones. Look at all these ones. It affects so many of us. Why does it affect so many of us? Because we live in a country where your ability to get health care is tied to your job and the company that you work for. And we live in a country where corporations don't like to pay a livable wage. Right? I got ones coming from every direction. So do you think conversations around SNAP and healthcare would be beneficial? Hey, Elise. Right? I think so. I think having conversations about SNAP and Medicaid would be good for people because I believe that it impacts people. So do you remember when I said that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So I care enough that in addition to all of that economic data that I did, all of the election data that I did, I created a database for you all. Okay? For you to be able to use. And I'm going to show it to you. If you've never ever seen the Google Drive that I created, please put a 1 in the chat. If you've never seen it, put a 1 in the chat. Appreciate you, Zach. I don't know what you're talking about, Redumican. I didn't mute you. There's so many of you guys that have never seen it. Oh, that makes me excited. That makes me excited. Okay, so I'm going to show you. You ready? So, because I want you to be able to have information for people. You ready? So I made this Google Drive and it's available for people. There's national resources. There's information about Project for the People, which is what I'm calling this. This document I'll show you in just a second. And these are your state resources. So somebody that has never seen this before, tell me the state that you live in, and then tell me what congressional district you're in. Somebody that's never seen this before, tell me the state that you're in and give me your congressional district number. Louisiana 1, I got California 21. Thanks, Terry. And Minnesota 1. All right, I'll do those 3. Okay? So watch this. State resources. You ready? So I'm going to Louisiana, District 1. Whoops. Now, the first question I'm going to say is, do you need English or Spanish? But we'll just do English. So here's what I have for you in Louisiana. In Louisiana, Congressional District number 1, 36,000 people are projected to lose their healthy Louisiana Medicaid health insurance by 2034 as a result of the One Big Beautiful Bill. 36,000. Because over the next 8 years, they are reducing the federal funding. So every year, more and more people are going to lose their Medicaid. And in that same district, 23,000 people are projected to lose some or all of their SNAP benefits. Okay? And then, remember those premium tax subsidies that expired and they were willing to let the government shut down because they didn't want to extend them? Because of that, an additional 41,000 people are going to become uninsured. See that? Now, you've also heard a lot of people talking about in Louisiana, right? That, people are getting Medicaid and SNAP for free and they just need to go get a damn job. Well, let's look at that. This is Louisiana. Well, wow. In Louisiana, 69% of the adults who are on Medicaid actually work. And Medicaid covers 54% of the adults with disabilities. Ain't that something? It doesn't look like having a job is the problem. It looks like the vast majority of the adults that are on Medicaid already work, doesn't it? Now, California 21. California, your last one's not there because you're the one that I have to do the third graphic for. But let me show you. California 21. Here's your Medicaid. 61,000 adults and children are going to lose their Medi-Cal by 2034 because of the One Big Beautiful Bill in California District 21. 35,000 children and adults are going to lose some or all of your SNAP benefits. And in case you're wondering, in that crazy liberal ass California, They just need to work. They giving stuff for free to everybody. Well, look, in California, 68% of the adults that are on Medicaid actually work. Look at that. And now I'm doing Minnesota 1 because I was asked to do Minnesota. So Minnesota, 1st District. 24,000 people are going to lose their Medicaid. And 13,000 will lose some or all of their SNAP. And 22,000 will be uninsured because of the tax subsidies that expired. Okay. So here's what I do, folks. I have a link tree. Give me 1 second. Did y'all hear that? That was my stomach growling. Holy geez, somebody thinks I might need to eat, huh? Okay, so I want to show you all something. Okay? Because that's what I want. You heard it? I know. I am, Scotty. I am. So let me show you 2 things. All right. So the first thing that I want to show you is, remember I told you I would show you that one folder? So you see this source links and docs? I want you to go to source links in English. See this? If you want to know where I got that data from, it's all in here. You do not have to trust what I'm telling you. You can look it up for yourself. This one is going to take you to the Congressional Budget Office, and that one's here as well. You have to download an Excel spreadsheet, so it's a little bit more difficult. They took this and they put it into a chart. This one over here. So watch, I'll show you. When you scroll down here, see, you can get it in the chart. So like Louisiana 1 that we just did, I'll go to Louisiana 1. Whoops. And Louisiana 1 was the 36,000 that I told you about. And then the 23,000 that I told you about. Okay. So why is that important? Because, and that's why on every graphic, it says what the source is, because I want people to be able to go to the source and see it for themselves so that they know what it does or what it doesn't say. You got it? So what we do in this group is, Hawaiian gentleman, 100%. So listen, so I have a link tree that's in my bio, like most people on TikTok, right? And so if you go to that link tree, then this is the link that you click to actually join up and become part of Project for the People. Our next meeting is this upcoming Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is when we get together and we talk about our next weekend of action, which is going to be next weekend. Then we talk about role playing, how to give out information, how to have these conversations. I talk about what the graphics are. I have new graphics for you all also that are going up there as well. Because why? Because this is the stuff that actually matters to people. Stop arguing with people about what Donald Trump did or didn't do or say. You know what I'm saying? So that's it, Hawaiian gentleman. If you're talking about like all the graphics that I did, that's my Google Drive. So here's what I want you all to understand. If you go to my link tree and you click that first link, right? Then you can join Project for the People. All right. I made all of those graphics, all of them. It's my personal Google Drive. Why did I do that? Because I want to make this as easy as possible for us to get out into our communities and for us to be sharing information with our neighbors and the people that we love. If you're disabled, no problem, right? You can take those graphics, download them onto your phone, and text them to your friends and family. You have access to the entire country's information. Your cousin lives across the country, no problem. Pull up their state, pull up their district, send them the information. Have a conversation. Cuz, did you know this shit is happening? Did you know that every year they're going to keep reducing the funding? And that means even if you didn't get cut this time, you can get cut next time, right? And this is how we start to have conversations. And they pulled all of this money from these programs to finance the tax cut. Well, that's the thing, Hawaiian gentlemen. I don't know if you just saw the Google Drive, but I literally pulled all the information for you. You're in Louisiana. I just did your state. So I don't know if you saw this or not, but I literally already did the work for you. Right. So why do you need to find anything? You literally just click the link that you get in the email. Right, Lady Blue, it's coming out today. I had so many people join up. So literally, all you do is click the link to the Google Drive, go to Louisiana, and pull up your congressional district. That doesn't take hours. It's 3 clicks. That's it. Right? That's not difficult to do. Why do you think it will take hours? I don't, that's the part I'm not understanding. Thanks, Britta B. I appreciate it. That's the part that I don't understand why you think it will take hours. You're welcome, Jaybird. So I also want to give you another example of what we're talking about doing. So we have people in 48 states that have already joined us, right? And so, yep, they're printable. I've got people that print these out. I've got people that share them on their social media. I've got people that have gone to community centers, farmers markets, international grocery stores, libraries, college campuses. I had people that invited some of their friends out for brunch and gave them out, right? Because this is how you have the conversations. Okay? So then here's the other thing that I've already done once and I have to do it again. I have to send out another, because I'm not complaining. We've had so many people. Thanks, Rasha. We've had so many people that have joined in the last week. I have to resend it out. Right. Coffee shops, hospitals, all the things. Okay. So get this. It's so crazy, folks. So everybody that's in the same state that you're in, everybody in North Carolina will get an email from me that has all of the counties and the first names and the email addresses for everybody that's in your state. So now everybody in North Carolina can get together with each other. Everybody from Illinois can get together with each other. We already have QR codes. So listen, we have t-shirts that have QR codes on the back. We have bumper stickers that have QR codes. We have hats. We have coffee mugs. We have bags. We already have them. They have the logo on them and they have the QR code on them. That's the second link that's in my link tree. That's the second link in my link tree. And we even have payment plans for those. So if you want to get a t-shirt, if you want to get a hat, if you want to get a bag, yep, we even have business cards too, business card signs. And we have payment plans because we know what world we live in. Veronica can help you. She's the one who does them. They're amazing, right? So this idea, yeah, I don't care. See, Jamie's printed hers at Staples. You can print them at your library. You can print them at Staples. You can print them wherever. And there's a flyer for a project for the people. That's the third link in the link tree. Guys, listen at how serious I am. If you organize a project for the people party at your house or your community center, if you organize a project for the people party, I will join you via Zoom to talk to everybody and go through the data and share with them how to go about doing these things and having these conversations. You organize a project for the people party, and we will set it up on Zoom or Google Meet, and I will talk to everybody that is there. I will role play with people on how to have conversations. I will explain the data to people. That's all you got to do. Veronica, I don't even know if it's possible, but I've even thought about maybe door knockers with some of the information on them, where people could just hang them on the doorknobs. I don't know if that's possible or not, but it was a thought that I had. But the whole idea is to build community and conversations. Love that. And here's why, you all. We have been in a hostile political environment for a decade. And in the middle of that decade, we had a damn global pandemic. We were physically and emotionally restricted from each other. You follow that? People are craving connection with each other. But because connection is oftentimes very volatile in this atmosphere, people don't know how to do it. People are attacking each other. And a lot of that is fear and anger. A lot of that anger is fear and grief. And so this is where I'm asking you to put your time where your mouth is. I am. I'm really asking you. Put your time where your mouth is. Are you willing to actually have the fucking conversations? Are you willing to go out into your community? Don't make me lie, Taylor. I don't know what people are using. So like, I just create them. However people print them is up to them. Because this is you all. I'm going to show you all. And Attorney Di, you are going to love this next part. Come. Do you have a second to come up here? I want to show you something. Where are you at? Not me trying to find you so I can. Okay. How you doing, friend?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Fantastic. So I want to show you something, and I want you to tell me your. I would love your attorney brain feedback on this. All right. So
Sure.
You probably know that Hawaii is one step away from passing. I mean, it's already passed the chambers, but it's one step away from being signed, which is SB 2471. SB 2471 will literally nullify Citizens United in the state of Hawaii. Did you know that? Oh, it's amazing. I'm very excited about it. It's amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me
Man,
show
I
you.
love Hawaii. Hawaii's like right there, man.
Oh, yep, they are. Okay. So listen, and Montana has one too. It's
Ah.
SB 2471. So let me show you, you guys, what we're working on now. I have goosebumps now. I get goosebumps. I get excited when I talk about this. So I need to update my graphic, but we have Project for the People in 48 states and in 370 counties. So that means we have people in 12% of the counties in the entire country. Okay. Now watch what that looks like and watch what I'm talking about doing. This is the part that I want your feedback on. Okay. Because I'm getting excited. All right. So let me show y'all. All right. So in the state of North Carolina has, and the reason I'm using North Carolina is because they have 100 counties and it's easy math. Okay. So listen, North Carolina has 100 counties. We have people in 25 of those 100 counties. So that's 25%, a quarter of the state, right?
Whoa, yeah.
Okay. So watch this. So what I've said. So this is what we look like collectively. I need to update my stars, you guys. So this isn't everybody. This was us a couple of weeks ago. But this is everybody that has joined Project For the People before the last 2 weeks. I need to update this graphic. Okay. See, this is as of May 2nd. Okay.
That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah. So now watch this. This is North Carolina. Okay. So imagine Attorney Di. Imagine I have at least one person in 25 counties. Now, if each one of those people takes that sample of SB 71, okay, and we make it so that it applies to North Carolina, because, much of it is going to be the same because it's the same for every state. There might be a few things that are state specific, but you can just tweak those, right? So then what you do is those 25 people, which we have way more than that in North Carolina, but these are the counties. Then we have all the people in those counties go around with a copy of that, and they explain to people that it would take the super PACs, the dark money, out of politics in their state. And then they get 100 signatures supporting that legislation, right? And then they make copies of that, and they send the bill and the signatures to their state legislature and to their local media. And now they have at least 2,500 signatures and a sample bill that will nullify Citizens United in that state.
Oh my goodness.
And then we do this in every state across the country. Because if the federal government, if Congress isn't going to get rid of Citizens United, we can do it one state at a time. You see what I'm saying?
I do. And I've got to go through and read Citizens United again. Boo. But I probably need to.
So I will send you the SB 2471, because the name of the bill is, because you know what Citizens United did was it said that corporations have the same right as people, and that corporations could spend their money, and that's the same thing as free speech. And that's why a corporation can create a super PAC. That super PAC is not attached to a candidate, right? But that super PAC can take $50 million and run an ad against the opposition, but technically not be donating money to that campaign.
Exactly.
Right? So let me show you SB 2471. Of course, I already have it pulled up. I get stupid excited about the ability to actually get some shit done. So if you look, the bill is called Relating to the Powers of Artificial Persons. And so I pulled up the final amended version of what the bill does and what it looks like. So this is the amendment part, right? But you can go to the summary if you want. And it reaffirms that artificial persons created under state law possesses only those powers that are necessary or convenient to carry out lawful purposes. And those powers do not include the power to spend money or contribute anything of value to influence elections or ballot measures. And it authorizes the Attorney General and the Director of Commerce and Consumer Affairs to impose certain penalties for violations. That's the summary.
Okay.
And it has passed both chambers. And so it is one step away from being signed by the governor.
Oh, sorry, I'm still reading it.
Oh, sorry, girl. I was going really fast, wasn't I?
That's all right. That's all right.
So it went to the governor on the 8th.
Okay. I'm gonna have to pull that. That's interesting because it reaffirms artificial persons. And so that's what you're talking about with Citizens United, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And so they can no longer spend money or contribute anything of value to influence elections or ballot measures. And so this would nullify. Yep.
I'm not sure legally. We kind of run into a couple of problems. I would say the biggest one is, of course, Article 6, where Citizens United is basically the law of the land.
No, but it's not. Citizens United, it's not a law.
Well, you're right. Actually, apologies, but it's put into place under the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court created this situation by assessing your right to assemble. And that was one of the major pieces. So they're basically saying, you don't have to tell us because
Yeah,
you
Montana.
have a right to assemble, and that can be private, essentially.
Yeah, but they can assemble, they just can't spend money. And that was the biggest part of Citizens United. And
Sure.
and the Constitution says that states have complete authority over their elections. The federal government can't tell the state anything about how it does their elections.
True. But I guess I would pull in, this is the perfect example to pull in Brown versus Board of Education. Let's just pull it right in. We had a problem, of course, with Brown because after the Supreme Court held to desegregate, states weren't desegregating, right? And they were putting into their constitutions and their statutes that segregation was allowed in a state. Because the federal level of Brown v. Board, they're like, nope, we don't have to pay attention to it because we're a state. So we can get into some tight spots. It took a second, Brown v. Board. I think it's Casey, that's the other case. Anyway, in order for them to iron it out. That's what the problem with Citizens United has been. And honestly, that was part of what happened too in the Dobbs case. We don't have any statutes for ABs, but most importantly, again, back to it here, is when you have a federal U.S. Supreme Court case, there can be some troubles if the states try to pull it away. Ooh, another one.
But the difference is that this. So here's what the Supreme Court said, is that basically corporations have free speech and that their money is speech, right? And Hawaii is not saying that your money is not your free speech. Hawaii is saying you just can't spend that speech in our elections, and we have the authority to govern what happens in our elections as a state because that's what the Constitution says.
True. The conflict, though, and I'm going to pause for a minute and say how incredibly refreshing it is to speak to someone at this level of intelligence. I'm so thankful. It's usually just me by myself talking to myself in the corner.
No worries.
All right. So they do have a right, of course, to do the elections however they want. And that's one of the reasons why the SAFE Act was DOA. But you've got to be within Article 6. So you've got to be within that federal constitution zone. Now, again, I don't think it's a bad idea. I'm just saying that you might have some problems on the other side of it. I think it's great. Even if there are some legal problems, go for it. Let's set that precedent.
Yeah, because Montana's always had, I don't know if you know this or not, but Montana has always had legislation that prohibited a ton of this dark money. So they had it, the 1912 Corrupt Practices Act. And then after Citizens United in 2012, they had another court case that went before the Montana Supreme Court in 2012, right? And so it's just really interesting to see how it plays out. And so I think the amendments are the parts that have pretty much made that. So their new one in Montana now is called the Montana Plan, or the Transparent Election Initiative. And it aims to restrict corporate election spending by framing it as a condition of doing business in the state. So so when you make it a condition of doing business in the state, which is what Hawaii did, because if you saw it, it says artificial persons created in the state of Hawaii, right? So if your business is in Hawaii, they make it a condition of doing business there. And so if you do business in the state of Hawaii, if you are an entity that is registered in Hawaii, then you can't do it there, period. And so it gets around the 2012 because Montana had it banned. And then in 2012, the Supreme Court said, no, you can't ban corporations from spending, right? And then Montana said, you want to bet? I can make it a condition of you doing business in my state. And at the very least, this is my thought. At the very least, we do exactly what the fuck they've been doing. We pass it, right? How long does it
Yes.
take it to go before the damn court and get reversed? Long enough for us to clean
Yes.
some of this shit out.
That's right. That's it right there. Yep.
So
Exactly.
my point is, go ahead. And here's
yes.
just saying. And okay, so this one I'm gonna make you, I think, a little bit excited. So I love Tad Stormer, right? He
Okay.
is a historian and an educator, but he wrote the book Resistance. What is it? American Resistance. Somebody wrote it earlier for me. What is it, y'all? Resistance in America, whatever it is. Hold on. Somebody told me what it was. Resistance history of the United States. Okay. Brilliant guy. And here's what I love about him. His specialty is about measures that have happened in history that have to do with resisting tyrannical governments. Anytime that we've had racist or fascist presidents, justices, whatever. Okay. So the other day he outlined this, and it is if we can grab it and learn from it, it could be really powerful. And it, at a minimum, it can be used to empower people to do what we need to do in this election. So follow me. So if you remember, in 1867 and in 1868, we had the Reconstruction Acts. Okay.
Right.
And Andrew Johnson, with his racist ass, he vetoed them 5 times until they finally passed. Right. Okay. So when they finally passed, what it allowed the U.S. to do, what's up, salam alaikum, Abu Saraj, it allowed them to divide the rebel states, the Confederate states, into 5 districts, and it deployed the U.S. military because those rebel states were refusing to abide by the 13th and 14th Amendment, right?
Yes.
So
that's right.
Then what happened is there was a court case. McCardle et al. Challenged the Reconstruction Acts and said that that was unconstitutional. So that court case was sitting before the Supreme Court. They had heard the arguments and they were actually in the deliberation stand part, right? And here's what's crazy is because Andrew Johnson was so racist, Tennessee was the only Confederate state that didn't get the military sent there. Everybody else did, right?
Oh my gosh.
And what Congress was concerned about was we had a racist Supreme Court, just like we have a racist and fascist president, right? Sound familiar?
Yep.
So here's what Congress did. Congress, while the Supreme Court had that case, passed a law that took the jurisdiction of that case away from the Supreme Court in the middle of deliberations so that they could not rule on it. And that is how we still got the Reconstruction period in this country.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much.
So think about that. We have the ability, so Congress has the ability to have the checks and balances on the executive branch.
Right.
And sometimes even on the judicial branch when it comes to passing laws that establish jurisdiction. And what they also did in 1868 was they expanded the court to 9 justices, 1 for every district, right? So follow me. In just 6 months, we get to determine the makeup of the court. I mean, the makeup of Congress, okay? There's 22 seats available in the Senate, 18 available in the House. And if everybody does their part and you have both of those become a majority, much less a supermajority on the progressive side of the House, then you now have a Congress that can absolutely rein in this current administration.
Oh, yes.
They can use the same budget reconciliation that the Republicans used last year to put the money back into SNAP, back into Medicaid. They can take the funding away from ICE, put it to the FTC so that they can crack down on the monopolies that we have in healthcare and big tech and AI and all the things, right? And then they can expand the court in 2028, right, to 13 justices, 1 for every district.
Right. Oh, I just love that idea of expanding them, 1 for each circuit. Oh, I love that.
Because that was always the intention.
I think so.
So
that's so exciting. I'm getting
thanks for the action.
goosebumps.
Yeah.
Goosebumps.
So this is the message that has to be communicated to people is that we have got 6 months to capitalize on this moment and use the lesson that history taught us to set us on the right track and up for success as we move forward. And it's just a matter of being strategic about how we do it and when we implement certain things.
Absolutely. Oh, yes. I'm going to have to look up Hawaii Oh, I'm so excited.
Because you've seen my Google Drive, right?
I think so. Forgive me.
That's okay. So
I've
yeah,
got a lot of.
I know. Girl, listen, I know.
You know what I'm saying.
I do know what you're saying. So we meet again this upcoming Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Appreciate you guys. And Attorney Di, can we get Dani on Hawks Live? I met Casso for the first time yesterday, y'all. And Casso said, because I was on a different live and then Dan Trail and Itchy cut me loose to go over all of the election data that I'd done and Project for the People and all of that. And then literally Casso was in my inbox afterwards and he was like, yeah, no, I need access. And I'm going to make a time to bring you onto his platform. Yeah, that live was something else, wasn't it? But anyway, so this is what I want people to understand about this time. Yeah, that's the book, Taylor. That's the book. And I want people to really understand that every time they do something, they are showing their hand. They are scared of two groups of voters. They are scared of women, and they are scared of Black and brown voters.
Absolutely. And if you're both,
yes. And that is why mobilizing this information, right? And creating conversations in communities with a strategic focus on specific areas in elections, we can absolutely do the damn thing.
Right. And truly that's how the change gets made at the grass levels right there.
Yep.
All right, I'm looking this up. I got to find it. The Google. Oh my gosh.
So my Google Drive is, I don't know if you actually joined via the link in my link tree or not. But that's how you get access to the drive. But the drive is, hold on. You'll remember it when I show it to you. Give me a sec. Because tonight I'm going to spend I was doing it last night too. I'm going to spend my night getting all of the new people that have registered. We are averaging, just so y'all know, we are averaging 100 new people joining Project for the People every week.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So this is Project for the People, right? If somebody asked me for, what was that? Was that North Carolina 1 you asked me for, Hilda? North Carolina 2. All right, Hilda, I'm going to do North Carolina District 2 for you as soon as I find the damn page that I was just on again. As soon as I found the page I was on again, because okay, there we go. All right. So I'm going to go to North Carolina for her. So these are all the states, and I have it for all 50 states, right? And I'm going to go to, and I have English and Spanish, but I'm going to pull up District 2. So North Carolina District 2, 25,000 people are projected to lose their Medicaid health insurance because of the One Big Beautiful Bill in this district. Also, 15,000 people in this district are projected to lose some or all of their SNAP because of that same bill. And then because of the ACA premium tax subsidies that expired, an additional 22,000 people in this district are going to become uninsured.
Oh my goodness.
So I've done this so that people can very easily go to their state and get their information. So like this is about people that are on Medicaid that work. And in North Carolina, 67%. This is my Google Drive, Red Garcia. So if you want access to this Google Drive, you just need to go to my link tree, and which is in my bio. And the very first link in my link tree is how you sign up to join this. Okay. And then I give you access. The only thing that I ask is that people not remove the watermarks, because I did this shit and it would just be great if you didn't take my work.
Well, heck yeah, and pass it on.
Right. No. So this is the idea. So what we do is we actually have days of action and we have weekends of action. And so people go out into their communities. I've had people have a brunch and invite their friends. I've had people go to grocery stores, to community centers, to libraries, to parks, to college campuses, and hand out this information and start conversations with people, not about Democrats and Republicans, but about the things that all of us need to really know. And then the source for all of this is in here. Even when you flatten them, they can still be removed, motor mouth. AI can remove just about anything. They are flattened, but you can still remove it. I checked. Trust me, bro. I checked.
Do we have, probably maybe not included here necessarily, because my goodness, the amount of work you've put into this, I can't even imagine. But my question is, what about the primaries? Are we trying to,
So this is what I'm telling everybody about the primaries. Okay. If you have a let's just say you have a real progressive person that you want to go up against the Democratic yes, absolutely, Steph, 100%. Then they primary, right? You vote for who you want in the primaries. Got no problem. Come November, I don't give a damn if Scooby-Doo is the Democrat. That's who you vote for.
yes.
Like the primaries is the time for you to say, oh, this is who I really, really want. The general election is when you say the well-being of the entire country and the world is more important than what I really, really want in this moment.
Yes.
And the way that I always share that, people, my perspective of that, because I had a black guy tell me before the 2024 election that he didn't like either choice. And it pissed me off. And I'll tell you why it pissed me off. Because I said, you know what? To hear you say that, especially as a black man, made me really mad. And I said, because here's what I picture. I picture John Lewis on the Edmund Pettus Bridge on Bloody Sunday, looking down the street at nothing but white police officers with fucking dogs and batons. I promise you, he didn't like his choices either, but he did what needed to be done for what was in the best interest of the people. So fuck what you like about your choices. Stop being a spoiled brat. Yeah. Progress takes sacrifice sometimes.
It's very interesting for me too, because I always think of, there's a group of suffragettes who were taken in First Amendment. They were protesting, put into the jail, and then I think they call it the Night of Terror, where they basically kind of tortured all of them. Torture. And you have to remember that, like, how many people have worked for you to even say, I don't like either of them.
Yeah, I don't like my choices. I said, you better scratch your ass and get glad, because boy, I was so done with him. I was so done with him. But that's America, right? We're very spoiled. And because we've had this quote unquote democracy and these rights for over half a century, people have forgotten what it took to even get them.
Yes.
I have a book on my shelf, and it says, it's a collection of writings from African Americans and their fight for civil rights. And it comes from it's a bunch of people that were enslaved and ancestors and all of this. And it's, the title of the book is Power Concedes Nothing Without Demand.
Ooh.
Power concedes nothing without demand. And we have not demanded that the powerful do right by the people in a very long time. And it has gotten us to where we are. And so we've got to fix that. And I know you guys keep saying vote for harm reduction. To me, that's a negative marketing ploy. Okay. To me, that sounds like, damn, you want me to vote for still harm, but just less of it? How about I vote for empowerment? How about I vote for a budget reconciliation act that puts the funding back into SNAP and back into Medicaid? How about I vote for a Congress that will actually stand up to the administration and that will stand up to the courts? How about I vote for the shit that I want to create? It's all about branding. And progressives have always sucked at branding.
Yeah, that's weird, because there's like, it's just weird.
Right.
But you are absolutely right. I mean, the language to be using is giving control back to the voters.
100%.
Say, this is your chance here. And I like too how you split the primaries. Like, hey, sure, get whomever you want, but you need to follow through what's best for the country when it comes to the general election.
100%. That's it. And so this is the thing. Everybody, if you talk to everybody, listen, I don't care if you're a white, black, red, yellow, red and yellow, black and white. I don't care what you are, right? The level of melanin in your skin. All of us know the rich people in our towns. All of us know old monies. All of us know the good old boy network. All of us know that, don't we?
We do.
And none of us like it. So tap into that, because the good old boy network is when the military can fucking fly helicopters over Kid Rock's pool, and then he can come speak to the Pentagon. Yo, what does Kid Rock know about the Pentagon? Not a damn thing.
I still can't believe he's alive. I just still, like, where are we here?
The country is being ran like a frat house.
Yep, exactly. Oh my gosh.
When I saw him and RFK Jr. in the ice bath in blue jeans, I was like, what the fuck am I watching right now? The country is not a frat house. This is not a frat party. And so for me, I want to vote for the things that I want to create, not for less of what I don't. Okay?
And exactly.
Yeah. And I'm just, yeah.
And I wanted to say too, like, I'm starting, I'm not sure if I'm gonna, probably Monday, I'm going to, because I'm, all over the place here. But on Monday, we're going to start a series regarding voting. We hadn't really hashed it out. My moderator, DC, she's amazing. I adore her. But, maybe it's time to kind of put this message out there when I'm going live too, so people can get to the website, they can locate the information. So I can do like a screenshot and then print it out, because I'm so old school, and kind of work through that path, if you're okay with that.
Yeah. And in my link tree, I even have, so the very first link is the link to join. The second link is a link to all the merch. See, we have TV, we have shirts and QR codes and all kinds of shit. And then the third link is actually for Project for the People. And it's got the QR code and everything already on it. So you can download that flyer, or you can take a screenshot of it for your phone, whatever you want to do. But yeah, and I can even, I'll send you via message. I'll send you a link to the page, because I created a page where it's just like an introductory video where I share with people what this is and why I did it. I started working on this January the 26th, and I didn't roll it out to anybody until March 8th. And in that 2 months, we have 48 states and over 370. Yes, the link is in my bio. 370 counties.
That's fabulous.
Yeah. So, and I have more to do this weekend. I'm really excited about the next batch of graphics that I'm doing. And so I'm focusing on graphics that come under healthcare, then education, and then housing, and then economics, right? Economic mobility, jobs and things like that. I don't think people truly understand where we are right now in this moment. The fact that our debt is higher than our gross GDP for the first time since World War II.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, shit is real, people. Yeah.
It's so bad. And I think people tune it out after a certain point.
Yes.
I think everybody's cup is just overflowing constantly.
Yep.
And they're like, I don't have any more to put here.
Yeah.
Not realizing that that's the problem.
Well, that's what they want. They want to overwhelm you so that you become apathetic. Right? That's what they want. Let me ask you guys this. For everybody that's in here, everywhere, put a 1 in the chat if you've never heard the introduction to Project for the People. It's a letter that I've read a couple of times. Is there, if you've never heard it, put a 1 in the chat. Hey, Noor, I got 15 minutes for the Pally Panic. Okay, so now here's what I would like for you to do. If you want to hear it, put a heart in the chat if you think that would be helpful. If you want to hear it, put a heart in the chat. Because I don't want y'all to be like, fuck, Dani. Just saying.
There's a lot of that going around these days.
Yeah, I just, Okay, so let me show you guys. Which browser am I in? My ADHD. Okay, so listen, I'm going to share this with you guys. Okay. Because this is my baby. This is the thing, y'all. They wrote Project 2025 and Project Esther, and there was nothing coming from the progressive side.
Right.
And I don't know everything, but I know something. So I thought I'll write a project of my own. All right.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So this is what it is. All right. You want to hear it? Here it goes. This is the progressive populist promise, because that's what I am. Hold on. So a progressive just means that I am for people, right? I want to make progress. I don't want to go back in time. I don't want to do any of those things. I believe that all people are valuable and that they all should be protected. I'm a populist because that means I'm for regular people, not rich ass billionaires and whatever that want to do whatever. So this is a strategy on how we stop the madness, get the country on track, and build a government that works for the benefit of the people. The majority of the country doesn't like the direction that we are going. The attack on our institutions, violations of civil rights, and the erosion of governmental trust have left many people wondering what they can do to put things on track. The purpose of this document is to provide answers to that question. Within these pages, you will discover 3 main pathways that will lead us back to a stable, democratic, constitutional republic that works for the benefit of the people. There's a 3-step process for progress. The first is elections. So in order to put progressive populist voices in a position to create legislation, policy, and accountability that works for the benefit of the average person, we must get serious about winning elections. That means developing a new strategy. And I already showed you guys the data, so I'm not going to do that again. The second is communities and conversations. Disconnection and voter apathy led to over 80 million registered voters simply choosing to not participate in the 2024 election. Our country won't survive another election with that level of disengagement. And that's why it's absolutely essential that we begin cultivating conversations within our communities that are effective, equipping everyday people on how to have productive conversations, even on the hard topics, and giving them a framework to know when, where, and with whom to have these conversations. That's how we move the needle consistently and permanently forward. The third step is government accountability. This is in writing. Neutralizing the threat that exists within the current administration is imperative as we move closer to the next election. The most effective mechanism for that is the articles of impeachment. But the key will be in selecting which individuals to impeach, gathering the most compelling evidence to ensure their impeachment and removal, and then determining the order in which they should be impeached, because I believe we should start with the cabinet, not the president. When done properly, these 3 objectives will provide an undeniably positive outcome for the people with minimum risk. So a note for Project on the People. We need you. Project for the People is a citizen-led effort to be ready for the next midterm election scheduled to take place on November 3rd, 2026. By reading this document or listening to me read this document, you have a responsibility to do what is in the best interest of not only yourself, your family, and your loved ones, but also your neighbors, community, and the population as a whole. To whom much is given, much is required. And now that you are aware of this movement, you are responsible for the action that you do or don't take from here. Progressive campaigns tend to wait until the last 3 or 4 months before an election to start truly organizing and implementing strategy. That will be too late in 2026. Our communities are already too stressed out. The dangers of ICE and DHS are becoming increasingly evident in our neighborhoods, and people may not be able to wait that long. Even if they could, would you be the most effective at that time? Probably not. The time is now. Unlike prominent think tanks, we don't have large financial backers or significant political connections, but what we do have is 2 things: heart and hope. Those are the things that make us the most dangerous to this administration and to those who would like to see our country continue down this path. It's also what makes us a threat to some members of the Democratic Party as well as the GOP. While the two parties are not the same, the Democratic Party shares some devastating points of intersection with their conservative counterparts, and it's in those shared values and common goals that they find us a hazard to their agenda. So as of today, they're all on notice, regardless of party. This is a pragmatic approach to politics based on what's in the best interest of the people, average, everyday people. While from a policy perspective that has traditionally leaned to the Democratic side of the aisle, it is not a free pass, especially without a primary challenger. In 2026, members of the Democratic Party who are currently in office have a small window in which to determine their path forward, because after we win a Democratic majority in Congress this November, we begin the process of challenging and defeating those members who put corporate interests, a particular religion, or foreign government before the American people. Project for the People needs people across all spectrums to come together and deconstruct the current administrative state and redesign our congressional state. There are those who would have you believe that it's not possible, that we don't have the power. They are wrong and they know it. If we, the people, didn't have the power to make this happen, they wouldn't work so hard to limit or take it away. Why make it harder to vote? Why silence our voices? Why create media monopolies? Why engage in deliberate misinformation and disinformation campaigns? It's because they're afraid you'll realize who the real enemy is and stop fighting the people in the same boat as you. This document is your invitation to support this message and join the movement in the best way possible in your life. So what does that mean? It means not everybody will be able to participate in community organizing. Not everyone can run for office. Not everyone can put together community forums, etc. So find where you can be the most effective and that best fits your life, but just be real about it. Don't use it as an excuse for your apathy, depression, or resignation. Push yourself. We know how badly the other side wants the world they desire. They wrote a 900+ page playbook on it, and they developed a coalition of over 50 conservative organizations to figure out how to make it happen. So it's time to ask yourself, what are you willing to do? That's it. That's the introduction.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it.
So there is actually a real playbook that I've written. That letter is just the introduction to the playbook, but I've submitted all of it, Thank You Be Action, for copyright. And so I'm waiting until I get to the final stage of that before I put it into the
Public.
Yes. But that letter part I've put out into the public already. So yeah.
Oh my goodness. Ooh, all right. Well, I'm gonna have to go and hang out on that website for a little while.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
For sure.
yeah, I don't know. I believe that we are better than this. And I
agree.
really do believe that most of us want the same things, Di. I just do.
I agree. I agree.
I do. So, but that's actually not the trick, little Taurus birdie. I'm going to tell you why it's not the trick. No, the intro you can share. Sure. Like I even have it. So listen, if you go to, did I put it on the link tree? So there's a page, and I think this is the video where I actually read it. Yeah. So listen, the introduction is on this page. So let me show y'all real quick. And I'll put this in the link tree. How about I do that, y'all? So it's helpful. So let me show you.
Yay.
So this page, right, it has a video of me reading the same introduction that I just did with a little blurb about it. And then you can click here to join. Okay. So there you go, folks. I'll put this in the link tree.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That's fabulous.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I appreciate you. I thought you might be excited a little bit about the whole like SB 2471 and our ability to use, because I think the thing that makes this really, really powerful is not just about the midterms, but it's about getting a coalition that is across the country, that is on a county level, right? And then arming and equipping those people to push legislation forward. You know, that's what ALEC does. ALEC writes the bills for Congress. So why don't we take the best bills that are out there, the best bills that are in other states that work for those states, and why don't we take them if we want them in our state? And why don't we have everybody that's in this project, that's in 30 different damn counties in the state, get 100 signatures minimum each, and then send all that shit in? Can you imagine what the press would look like if you sent, this is the sample legislation, and here's our 3,000 signatures that we got collectively together, and we sent this all to the legislature? That's a story.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, they let you do that, little Taurus. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done it. I've literally written a bill for, yeah. Yes.
That was, in law school, we didn't have very many specialties. You don't really specialize in anything in law school. The school I went to specialized in, had a constitutional program, and then they had a legislative certificate, which takes you through how to write bills and how to write the law to get it in. Oh my gosh, that was my favorite classes.
So do you know what I did? Because when I was asked to write, the first time I was ever asked to write a proposed bill, because it was to counteract an existing bill. Right. So I took the existing bill and I used it as my framework for the counteract. It's the same thing I did with Project for the People. I literally took Project 2025 and I pulled it up beside me and I used it as a template for how I was going to write this. They had a letter at the beginning of theirs, so I wrote a letter for the beginning of mine. They laid out what they needed. I laid out what I needed. Like, to me, I don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, that's how you do it right there. Oh my goodness.
So we haven't created, so we are going to create a TikTok by itself, but I'm just going to be honest. I don't have the bandwidth, PJ. I don't. And so some of the other Danikins and my mods have talked about it. We've created a Facebook page and a Facebook private group, and I do it somewhat on there, but it's just a matter of time. So one of the things that we're getting ready to do is we're gonna have like a working meeting where, not to sound like however it might sound, but when I have people that I know I can trust that can get on a Google Meet with me, and I can invite them to like one of my Canva projects that I'm working on, and then they can help me do the graphics once I've shown them, like once I give them a template to work from, then I could have people actually help me do some of those graphics. It's just because the thing about it is you have to be really careful, folks, because the moment you put something out that's not true and they can use it to discredit you, they will. And so that's why I'm just a big stickler about people not creating their own graphics and using the logo. Don't put Project for the People on shit that I don't say put it on.
That's right. Absolutely. And that's very smart. That's very smart.
So, yeah.
Well, all of this, and real quick, can I show you my closet real quick?
Yeah, girl. So if y'all have never seen Auntie Di's, Attorney Di's closet, check it out.
Either way is fine. Hold on, I'm gonna move this around. Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those are the court cases.
Right. These are all the cases against the administration, all the immigration, First Amendment issues, all of those things. Yes, the closet docket.
That is the closet docket.
Especially our visas, too. It's like, why are you pulling people's visas? These are, the green are all of the monies that were promised to different places that Mr. Orange has denied. He's like, we're not giving you any federal money. So, we're talking universities, hospitals, research projects, all of that.
Yeah.
And right here. And then the orange are federal employees and how they've been treated, which has been awful. So that's here. Election lawsuits here. Kind of a mix down here. I'm not really sure what they're doing. Then I had to move over to my other door, Dani. Look at this.
Yes.
Because it's closet.
Yes.
So here's a mixed bag too. And sanctuary city lawsuits, law firm, removed lawsuits, information they've taken off of their websites, off of the government websites. Also media elimination, like how they're trying to get rid of our media,
Yep.
is huge. This, in my opinion, is huge.
It
Of
is.
course, we have our transgenders issues going on here. And then finally over here, these are our FOIAs and dismantling of the DEIA along with AmeriCorps
Yep.
and then USAID as well. So these are all, I think we're at about 775
Yep.
lawsuits that have been filed. So, I mean, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
Really is, it really is.
Yes. Yeah, it's a whole lot. And so, yeah, if you guys aren't following Attorney Di, make sure that you do that. She's fantastic and really, really informative, as you can see. And yeah, I mean, you know,
what's great about this though is documenting the cases.
Yep.
But with Project for the People, it's like, now what do we do?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, we see what's going on, and now how do we take a step forward? And I just think it's fabulous. I think what you're doing is amazing.
Well, thank
Absolutely
you.
Amazing.
I really, that was my thing, is that's all I kept hearing. What do we do? What do we do? What do we
Yep.
do?
Exactly.
And I said, okay, well, let me figure out what the fuck we should do. And the one thing that I do know how to do is organize. Like I know, God love my heart, I know how to talk to people. And
you certainly do. That's like one of your superpowers.
It's funny. My grandson asked me that. He said, "Tutu, what's your superpower?" And I said, this thing right here.
That's right.
But it took me a while to get it that, you know, superpowers can be used for good or not so good, right? And there was a time when I was operating from a place of hurt and trauma where I wasn't using my superpower to the best of my ability, right? And now it's just very, very different. And so that's my focus. My focus right now is, how do we build something amazing and fantastic? And, you know, I give my grandbabies a lot of credit for that, because they put a lot of shit in perspective for me about what life is. You know what I mean? And what really matters. And I just will be damn if I'm going to sit back and let them inherit this shit that we created.
I agree.
Absolutely not. You know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I'll share this with you all just so that you know. It is okay. I am not ashamed of any of my crazy. I used to be crazy. I used to be, when I say crazy, not crazy, but crazy as in trauma crazy. Like, I'll bust the windows out. I used to be, you know what I mean? And here's the thing about that, is that I believe that we all do the best we can based on who we are and what we know at the time. And when we know better, we do better. But it's not when we know better. It's when we know better. It has to be here, right? It's not here, because all of us know how to get in shape. We know to eat less calories than we burn, right? We know we know we need to do fruits and vegetables. We know to put down the damn second, third, and fourth roll. We know, but it's not about knowing. There's a connection that happens, and it's not when you know here. It's when you know here. And when you know here, that's when the shift really happens, you know? And so,
absolutely.
Yeah. So that's why I don't feel bad. I didn't know any. As a matter of fact, real talk, I am so grateful for all of the other parts of me. So, like, don't get me wrong. It's not that I'm not that person anymore. She's still here. I just retired her.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. I literally, so the way that I picture it in my head. And so I took my heart and I took that part of me that needed those tools to deal with hurt and pain and disappointment and trauma, right? And I said, girl, you did a great job of keeping me alive. but I have different
Exactly.
tools now. I have different tools. So why don't you retire? You have earned an early retirement. And in my head, I picture that I've just created a little bedroom for her with all the things that she loves, right?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
every now and again, I might encounter a ninja or two that makes her, she'd be like, girl, you sure? And I'd be like, yes, I'm sure. You stay in retirement. But every now, it's nice to know she's still there if I need her. But no, I leave her in retirement.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Well, exactly. And that was you surviving.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing.
That's it.
Is the next day. Yep.
That people don't understand. It's not that people mean to not do what they're supposed to do. It's people are in survival mode and
Exactly.
and operating from those places. And so, you know, you'll never make me ashamed of not knowing what I didn't know.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I tell people too, like, I know a lot about what I know a lot about.
Yep.
But if there's other stuff in the world, I'm like, is it lefty loosey? I mean, I don't get it. You
Yeah.
know?
Yep.
Like, help me.
So the
I'm
goal
with you
is
on that one.
we're going to meet this upcoming Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everybody that has signed up for Project for the People in the last week and a half to 2 weeks, I will take all of you and get you all uploaded. What's up, awesome, amazing Alice? And I'll get you all in the system. I did one 2 nights ago, but more of you all have joined now, so I need to do it again. And then once I get everybody uploaded, I will get the email out. The email will include all of these things. So listen, it will include the link to the webinar that explains the entire project in full. It will also include a link to the Google Drive so that you can access all of the resources that I've showed you today. It will also include a link to like our previous meetings. So you can see like when we've role played or when we've talked about other things. And then it will include the link for the upcoming meeting this Thursday. So all of those things will be there. Okay, folks?
I love it. Love that.
Yes. So, all right. So while we do this, you can stay or you can go. It's entirely up to you, Attorney Di. This is Friday. It is 1 p.m. So we do something here that we call it's our Pally panel.
Oh,
So
I love it.
Our folks that are between the river and the sea, that you know, don't have much and need to eat and all of that, we start to bring them up on the panel. And yeah, it's about to get lit because the coins are about to fly. And
I love it. I love it. I will need to step down though.
No worries.
I've got a lunch plans with the hubs.
Oh, go
So,
have a good lunch. But yes.
Well, take care. I'll be back around.
Okay.
I'll see you very soon.
Sounds great, hon. Appreciate you. All right. So listen, folks, this is the deal. I'm still going to be talking. I'm still going to be doing things. So I'll just be doing it as they join the panel. Okay. Right. Exactly. So here's the thing. What they are able to do is they're able to take TikTok coins. They're able to convert them into Bitcoin. And then they're able to, or not Bitcoin, but crypto. And they're able to use that to get the things that they need. Okay. Carla, I say 2K is the goal for today. Okay. So yes, I know. I'll make one, and I do need to do that. So I'm going to bring up some folks that are in the States to help me hold space. 2K is the goal. And also remember this, folks. Also remember this. I have a section in my link tree with direct ways to support. If they have a direct link and I personally know them and all of that, it is in my link tree. Okay. So, and I want to say this one more time. If you are not in a financial position to be able to give, and it is in your heart to give, I want you to know that that is okay. You do not feel guilt, because what will happen, and this happens every time, is somebody else that has the finances will cover your place. You need to understand that the energy still gets honored no matter what. Okay, folks? So it's very important for you to know that the energy still gets honored. All right? All right, here we go, people. It's time to do the things. And I'm going to continue to talk to you about things here in the States, because if I don't, it will it will jack up the algorithm. So I just want to be clear about those things. Okie dokes. I don't know if this is, I don't know if that's the real one. See, sometimes they know who I bring up, so they snatch people's pictures and pretend to be them. So I don't know. Is it Abu Sami? Because I saw a fake. I think it's a fake.
Assalamu alaikum, Dani.
Alaikum salam. How are you, friend?
Alhamdulillah, sister.
Good, good. Yep, that's who I thought it was. See, we was on it, Cam. That's who I thought it was. I needed to make sure. All right, so let me change the way that this is structured real quick. Alaikum salam.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. I'm good. How are you? Appreciate you.
Alhamdulillah, sister. Alhamdulillah, I'm fine.
So, hold on. Let me do this real quick so that, okay. So there, that's helpful, right, y'all? And so Cam, we're just gonna do it as quick as possible. Because I do have a hard stop to get the girls today from the bus. I do. I don't know how many people I have up. What do I have? Oh, I love the moonwalk. I saw the moonwalk last night.
Salam, Dani. Salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam, Mohammed.
Now in the Gaza, now in the fire, boom, boom, boom.
They're bombing Gaza right now.
خلاص تمام انا مش منتبه لك والله.
Sister, I want to translate for you what Muhammad said to you. He wanted to say to you some news.
غرب مدينة غزة استهداف شقة سكنية ببرج المعتز غرب مدينة غزة ويوجد عدد من الشهداء والجرحى بهذه اللحظات.
Man.
There is sister bombing in apartment يعني in a space in the north في الشمال يا محمد.
بالشمال غرب مدينة غزة عمارة المعتز.
I can hear the drones. Do y'all hear the drones in the background?
Fire now.
Yep, I hear it.
In North Gaza.
In North Gaza.
Yes.
Yeah, we hear it.
Hi, Dani. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. How are you? What do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I can do one more real quick. Oh, okay. I lost Zena for a second. So, okay. So I just wanted to make sure. So, Zena, can you let everybody know that we're going to do a 2K today, and then I'm going to rotate out because I want to try to get to as many people as I can.
Okay, sister, I will do that. هي إن شاء الله يكون هدفها 2K عشان تطلع عدد كبير من الناس وتساعد عدد كبير من الأسر. هي حتطلع كمان الناس الموافقة عندها. محمد بدك ايش انا برضه وصلت للهدف ممكن هتنزلني اذا بدك ايش اترجم لك قبل ما انزل.
ماشي بس انا يعني اذا بدنا نوصل لها بس هالرساله هاي انه قبل يعني الان استهداف شقه سكنيه بعماره المعتز غرب مدينه غزه ويوجد عدد كبير يوجد عدد من الشهداء يوجد عدد من الشهداء والجرحى الان بهي اللحظات.
قديش عدد
الشهداء؟
Sister, he tell us about there is a lot of martyrs in this bombings in the West Gaza about bombing in the target is apartment, sister. That's have a family inside this apartment and all of them may be martyred and we have a lot of also enjoyed about that.
Okay. Shukran, Mohammed. Shukran. Thank you, Zina.
Thank you, Dani.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dani. Love you.
Love you. Love you. Love you. Love you. Into Galbi. Yeah. So I don't know if you all heard the drones in the background. Okay. But so what he's telling you is that they are hitting apartments and that the families inside of them may be martyred, may be unalived. What's up, Mo? Keep Halleck.
Hey Dani, Kenz. Alhamdulillah, I'm all good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you are
Actually,
welcome.
Hi Dani, how are you, sister?
I'm good. How are you? Sorry.
Alhamdulillah, I am fine. محمد يمكن ربما الحدث الأبرز إنه استهداف شقة سكنية الآن، وهناك يعني عدد من الإصابات على الأقل حتى اللحظة. هناك الحديث يدور على أن هناك 3 من الشهداء. نتمنى السلامة لغزة العزة وربنا يحمي هالناس. محمد إذا بس بترجم يا صديقي ويخلف عليك.
He's now talking about the latest bombing in Gaza City. It's a flat, and until this moment, it's around 3 casualties, and the number of injured people is still unknown.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, since the day before yesterday, here in Deir al-Balah and the eastern sides, we've been hearing some really huge bombings, and then the people in the eastern sides were evacuating their tents and what's left of their homes, and then random bombings started on them. And then the traitors caused all that, and then they came in a statement saying that this is all for the safety of the citizens, while themselves were pew-pewing and have actually caused casualties and injured people. And then they said this is a message from the IDF, came by us. We only want the civilian safety because this is a war zone between us, like referring to them as the good people, and the resistance members, referring to the resistance as the bad people, which is unbelievable. Like, yes,
Right.
and then they unalived a journalist member among 9 people. This is yesterday, and they're extra shadow banning all of the news coming in. I just can't believe the amount of things that are happening at the same time.
Yeah, me either. Okay. Keep me posted on things. Okay. Noor.
Inshallah, then.
Inshallah. Stay
Thank
safe.
you for having me.
Yeah,
Thank you.
always.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Dani.
guys. Appreciate you. Into Gelby, guys. Love you. Stay safe. I mean, I hate saying that because you can't, there's no way for me to say, you know, like stay safe because you can't, it's not like they can choose if they get to be safe or not. You know what I'm saying? They don't get to choose that. But you still feel it. Oh, hey Hussein, how are you, friend?
I'm good, so my friend. Hello, everyone.
Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to. So I'm on my backup, trying to gift from my backup while I'm trying to run from my main. It's okay though. It is okay. All right. It's gonna be okay. So I don't. Some of these, y'all know that I don't.
Hello Dani. Hello my friend.
Hey Wasim, I like your glasses.
Yes. New. Look Dani. والله $100. والله $100.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. What's Dani? Now the Gaza bim.
Yes,
Now
I know.
very sad. Very sad.
Yeah,
Very sad. Yeah.
I know.
Dani, they attack a big person in Hamas in Gaza right now. It's in military in Hamas. They attack them.
That's what Mohammed was telling us, and Noor was telling us as well. And he was saying that there was also an apartment building that got hit as well, which of course is not. We were afraid that it was going to to increase like that. You know what I mean? Like it was gonna ramp up again. So
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. So
Danny, actually, we don't have ceasefire right now. We live in under war.
Oh, I know. I know.
As you know.
Yeah.
Under war, actually, yeah.
Yeah. We just really did not want it to increase. You know what I mean? The way that it was.
It become bigger than
bigger again.
Yes.
Bigger again, because it was horrible. And so, yeah, not good.
What do you think, Danny? What do you think is gonna be in the future for Gaza? What do you think?
I mean, a lot will depend on what the people do in the meantime, right?
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of it has to do with the American people. And if we ensure that we need to elect as many progressives. And when I say progressives, I mean that's different than Democrats, right? So we need to elect as many progressives as possible, and then still choose whatever is left still has to be Democrats, so that we have a Democratic majority in Congress. And then we can apply as much pressure as possible to remove the funding from Israel. The good thing is, Hussein, for the first time in my life, we have more people than ever that are running for office that are saying, I absolutely will not take any pro-Israeli money, right? We never had that before. So that's a good sign that things are changing. They're just not changing as fast as we would like, right? But in the end, I have to believe that Gaza will be free, that Palestine will be free, because it's just what I believe, right? It has to be. And but yeah, that's what I think.
How are you?
I'm good, Wadmi. How are you? Oh, shukran. I love the wolf. Thank you guys for the wolf.
Did Emily send you my link?
No.
Send you my link?
No, I'll message her. No, I'll message her. I'll message her right now.
How are you, Dani? We need to speak. How are you?
I'm good. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Yep, I'm good. So Wadmi.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So let me pull up my messages and I'll get her to send it to me. So that she knows, not my daughter saying, don't forget the girls. I'm not going to forget my grandbabies. I got to get them off the bus today.
I sent her a message today to send you the link.
Okay.
She will.
Okay, then she will.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cam put in the chat that she put it in Discord.
Daddy?
Oh, she put it in Discord? Okay, great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have it, Wadmi. Yep, we have it, Wadmi, and I will put it in the I'll put it in the link tree today. Okay.
Carla, how are you? Sister Dani? Sorry, I didn't say this before.
Yes, I'm well. How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Okay.
Sometimes, wait, is that the same picture twice? Not me trying to make sure I don't have, it is. See, I have two, and one of these is the real one, and one of them is not. These folks. So you're not the real one. The other one is. I know why they do it, but it's not good. It's not cool. You know? So, Wadmi, what we're trying to do today is I'm trying to get to more people today, and so we're just doing the like normal 2K. I know you already exceeded yours. Can you do me a favor, and can you just let everybody know that's what I'm trying to do is 2K, and then I'm just rotating people out so that they know.
Okay, but I need to speak with you. I know you will drop me. I need to speak with you and your crews if you can.
Okay. Okay.
Last time you said you would message me, but I think you were busy. يا جماعة بدها بس توصل الكل 2K مشان الكل ياخد. أنا جوزت رقم راح ينزلوني، فمش راح يعني راح اللي يوصل ل 2K راح تنزله وتطلع غيره. Go ahead, sis. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And if I forget, Wadmi, I'll do my best not to forget. If I forget, you message me, okay? I will message you though. It's okay for you to message me, but I'll message you.
I want to annoy you.
You're not annoying me. You are not annoying me.
Thank you, sis.
Okay. Yeah, you're not annoying me ever. No, it's fine. Yeah. Yeah. If I tell you I'm going to and then I don't, it's just because I have so much going on and then I do forget.
Very complicated.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So message me and then I'll respond back. Okay. No worries. Okay, sis.
Inshallah.
Okay. All right. Inshallah.
All
right. Love you.
You have to drop me to another video.
I got you. Love you. Love you. Love you.
Sister Dani. Bye. Sister Dani.
Yes.
I am Yasmin. I am the person Brother Ahmed talk about me.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yes. Hi, Abu Samir. I see Habibti. Salam, Habibti. She's so beautiful. Thank you guys for those of you guys who know, we're just we're doing the 2K and that's the goal. I'm trying to just do more folks today. I believe we know this one. I believe. Hi, baby. See them cheeks.
Salam, Dani.
Salam, Abu Malik. How are you?
Salam, Dani.
Hi. Hi, Habibti. So cute. Okay, so let me see. Yes, I'm done. I know. I'm fussing at TikTok. I need TikTok to do what I need it to do. Okay. So okay, folks. I am we are doing our best. Cam, I'm trying to take as much pressure off you as I can today. I need for people to understand that, see, is this the real one? Hold on. Not me scrolling to look for real versus, and I don't know. I don't know which one. Dang. It's hard to know sometimes. It's hard to know. Oof. Sometimes. Abu Malik, keep Alec. Sometimes. Oh shoot. Abu Malik, keep Alec.
Alhamdulillah, Dani. كيف حالك?
Yeah, alhamdulillah. How are the babies?
Alhamdulillah, tamam, alhamdulillah.
Okay. They always say alhamdulillah, and I know that it's like it is whatever it may be. Like, I don't know why I ask like it's going to be something different. It's never going to be different, but I love that for them. I just always want them to be okay, and that's difficult. You know what I mean? So yesterday, y'all, when I was on the other profile, and I had to go on my backup account when I was on Political Slayers live last night with everybody. So Dantrell at one point was like, everybody gift Dani. She never asked for gifts, but it was when I was on my backup account, right? So not my main account. So literally I'm on my backup account right now, exchanging all my gifts from yesterday into coins so that I can give today. Because, you know, yeah, yeah. I was like, well, I have coins over there. Yeah, I ain't gonna miss it because it was never in the bank. It was never there. Yeah. So just saying. Yeah, I ain't gonna miss it because it was never in the bank.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Hi, Dani.
Hi, how are you? Keith Halleck. I'm good. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes, I'm doing my darndest right now. So guys, dang, I'm pushing buttons with the wrong phone when I'm trying to do stuff, y'all. Okay. And y'all tell me when you are getting close to out and when you're not, okay, folks? Okay. Oh, y'all hear the drones? Because I hear the drones. Yes.
في روان عندها يتيم تنساهاش. روان يتيم تنساهاش ها؟
I don't know.
بتفهمش عربي يا سامح.
Rodman says she don't know what you said.
No Arabic.
Shway Arabic. Shway Arabic.
صباح الخير. صباح الخير.
Yes.
إن شاء الله يا محمد.
Yes. That was funny. I don't know if I did, I can just take it down again, but I don't know if I did or if I didn't. Okay, I didn't. Okay, cool.
يا جماعة هي بتفهمش عربي اللي بيبعتوا لي بتفهمش عربي. بتفهمش الإنجليزي.
Oh, oops. I'm hitting the wrong thing. Okay. So for everybody else, let me check your temperature real quick for everybody else. Can you tell me what you how you all are feeling on coins right now?
I mean, for me personally, I can do a few more.
Okay.
I can help.
Okay. Anybody else want to give me an update? Dang, Solomon must have a horrible connection. Every time he keeps trying to come up, he keeps dropping. You all remember Solomon? He was the young boy with the beautiful smile in the school. Solomon, Soleman. Do you remember who I'm talking about?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
حالك أختي داني.
No. Alhamdulillah. Keith Halleck.
Alhamdulillah.
Good. Okay, so I am doing the best I can. He keeps trying to join and his internet is horrible.
There he is. Yep.
See, this is why TikTok thinks I make music. Me singing while I'm trying to find people. La 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 la. I don't know why I just have y'all sitting here because I know y'all are like, Dani, what you doing? Okay, listen, I love you all over here on Facebook, YouTube, Substack, and Twitch. I really do. Free Palestine. Yes. So. Oh, okay. He's sending me messages too. Okay. So I love you guys over here, and I will see you later. Please make sure that you go to Project for the People though and sign up. Okay. People, love you, mean it. Okay. Bye.